Every CEO knows the feeling. It is 2 p.m. and the market is dipping. A key executive just resigned and your board is asking for a pivot. In this moment, your heart rates climb and your mind starts to race. You feel the waver. Most leadership training tells you to look outward for a solution, analyzing the data, check the competition, pivot the strategy. But ancient wisdom suggests that the most effective leader don't look out, they look inwards. Today we are exploring a profound lesson from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 21. It's a verse that defines the state of perfection for a yogi. But as we all see that the actual blueprint for the ultimate high pressure performance executive is very well defined in this particular verse. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the verse itself. It says, on attaining perfection, the yogi sees the soul through the purified mind and experience inner joy. In this joyous state of pure bliss or samadhi, which is beyond comprehension of the senses, he never wavers from the path. And the quote close. There are three key pillars here that applies directly to you as a leader. Number one is the purified mind. So in business, we call this clarity. Number two is beyond the senses. In business, we call this vision. And number three is the unwavering path. And in business, we call this execution. The word suggests that never wavering isn't a result of willpower or being tough. It's a result of a specific internal state called samadhi. The word state, with seeing through purified mind, what does a dirty or a cluttered mind look like for a CEO? It's a mind filled with noise, fear of failure, the egos, and need for validation. Also, distraction of the short-term gains. All the distraction that you may get because of the short-term gains. When your mind is cluttered, you aren't seeing reality. You are seeing a projection of the reality. You react to the news rather than responding to the truth. Learning in the context of this verse isn't about reading more spreadsheets. It's about purifying the lens. When a leader purifies their mind through meditation, reflection, or radical honesty, they see the soul of the business. They see the core purpose, and when you see the core clearly, the external chaos loses its power, which would eventually distracted you. But then you are, saving yourself from that distraction. Next, the Gita mentions a joy that is beyond comprehension of the senses. This is the part which most business schools miss. We are taught to rely entirely on our senses. What we can see in a report, hear in a meeting, or touch in a product. But the most iconic leaders think like Steve Jobs, Indra Nooyi, or Howard Schultz often made their biggest move based on something beyond the senses. They had an inner conviction that defied the current data. Bhagavad Gita calls this samadhi. For a CEO, this is the flow state. It is that moment where you are so aligned with your purpose that you experience a quiet inner joy even in the middle of a crisis. Why is this joy important? Because if your happiness depends on your stock price, which is a sensory input, you will waver every time the market fluctuates. But if your joy comes from an internal alignment with your mission, you become a bulletproof CEO. The final promise of the verse is the most important, and that is, he never wavers from the path. In the corporate world, wavering is expensive. It leads to confused teams, wasted resources, and lost market share. Leaders waver because they are searching for external certainty. But as verse 21 teaches us, certainty is an inside job. When you have experienced that inner joy and pure bliss of clarity, you no longer need the world to tell you that you are right? You stay the course because you know the course. This isn't stubbornness. Stubbornness is an ego-driven refusal to change. Unwavering leadership is a soul-driven commitment to a truth that you have perceived through clear mind. So how do you apply this today? You don't need to move to Himalayas to find that state. You find it in the micro moments of your day. Before your next meeting, take 2 minutes to purify the lens. Strip away the ego and the fear. Ask, what is the core truth here? When things go wrong, check your joy. If your peace is gone, you have slipped back into the world of senses. Reconnect with your why. Commit to the path. Once you see the truth through a clear mind, trust it. The best leaders never waver because they aren't following the world. They are leading from a place where the world cannot touch them. So, friends, go forth and lead with that unshakable clarity. We have come to the end of our lesson today. Before I close this session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, the month was June, year was 2024. NASA's Curiosity rover accidentally crushed a rock in the Gale crater on Mars, revealing something scientists never expected, and that was pure elemental sulfur. While sulfur is common on Mars in compounds, finding it in its native form has a massive implication, not just for Martian geology, but for how we understand the resource scarcity on Earth. Let us go and discuss this further. Nearly 2 years ago, in month of June, NASA Curiosity rover was doing what it does best, exploring the channels in the Gale crater. It was just another day on the red planet until the rover 6-ton frame rolled over a seemingly ordinary rock. The rock cracked, but instead of a usual red dust, Curiosity camera sent back something that made scientists at NASA jump out of their seats. Inside the shattered stone was a cluster of bright yellow crystals, pure elemental sulfur. Now you might be thinking, so what? We have sulfur on Earth, but here is the thing. While Mars is covered in sulfates, which is sulfur mixed with other elements, scientists had never seen a pure sulfur on the planet before. It wasn't supposed to be there. This discovery was a geological impossible find. But while the scientists are geeking out over the chemistry, energy analysts back on Earth starting doing a different kind of math. Because right now in 2026, sulfur isn't just a yellow rock. It has become one of the most critical material for the future of our planet's energy. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now let's proceed further. To understand why a rock on Mars matters to your power bill, we have to look at what's happening on Earth right now. Well, there is a global crisis, especially in 2026, especially related to sulfur. For decades, we took sulfur for granted. On Earth, we didn't mine sulfur directly anymore. We get it as a byproduct of refining oil and natural gas. But as the world shifts towards green energy, we are refining less fossil fuel. At the same time, demand is skyrocketing. In early 2026, we hit a triple supply shock. Number one, Middle East conflict. Blockades in the Strait of Hormuz have cut off 45% of the world's seaborne sulfur trade. Number two, export bans. Major producers like Russia, China, and Turkey have extended export bans to protect their own domestic supply. Number three, the price spike. In just the last few months, sulfur price have surged by nearly 40% in the US and over 70% in some of the Asian markets. In Indonesia and in the DRC, the cost to process the metal we need for batteries has now nearly doubled because sulfur, specifically sulfuric acid, has become so expensive. We are in a structural bull market for sulfur that most people didn't see coming. This is where the Martian discovery gets interesting. Why do we need so much sulfur? It's not just for the fertilizers anymore. It's for the holy grail of energy storage, which is lithium sulfur batteries, LIS. The standard lithium ion battery are great, but they are reaching their physical limits. LIS batteries, which is lithium sulfate, however, are the next frontier. They can potentially hold 5 times more energy than the batteries in your phone or Tesla today. NASA themselves have been developing these for Mars mission because they are lighter and much more powerful. But there is a catch to making these batteries at a global scale. We need massive, stable supply of highly purified sulfur. And right now, Earth's supply is shrinking just as the battery demand is accelerating with dual engines. When Curiosity found a literal field of pure sulfur on Mars, it proved that the universe can create massive concentrated deposits of this material without the need for the biological life or petroleum-based refining. Now, I'm not saying that we are going to start shipping sulfur back from Mars tomorrow. The shipping cost would be astronomical. But the discovery changes the Martian economy. If humans are going to live on Mars, we need in situ resource utilization, or ISRU. This means using what's already there. Before this find, we thought that we had to bring sulfur from Earth or go through a complex chemical processing to get it to what we needed. Now we know there are literal piles of yellow gold just sitting on the surface. For batteries, we could build energy storage on Mars using local materials. For rocket fuel, sulfur can be a key component in chemical processing. For agriculture, Martian greenhouses will need sulfur-based fertilizers to grow food. This discovery effectively de-risks the cost of human expansion. It turns Mars from a scientific curiosity into a viable industrial outpost. So how does the Curiosity sulfur find shake Earth market? It serves as a massive wake-up call. It reminds us that the sulfur is no longer just a byproduct or a waste material. It is now a critical energy material. The fact that NASA is finding pure sulfur on another planet, while we are struggling with sulfur squeeze here on Earth, highlights a massive shift in our global economy. Companies are no longer looking at sulfur as a cost item, they are looking at it as an investment item. We are seeing a move towards solid state batteries and recycling technologies that treat sulfur as a precious resource. Curiosity's happy accident in Gale crater isn't just a win for geology. It is a glimpse into future where the resources of the red planet might just be the blueprint for the survival of the green planet. The next time you look at the Mars, don't just see a desert, see a laboratory, see as a mine, and see the fuel for the next century of human progress. I'm CK. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Long before the telescope pierced the skies of Renaissance Europe, a brilliant mind in 5th century India dared to challenge the cosmic order. And Aryabhat, through his Aryabhatiya, that suggested that the earth itself was not a still center of the universe, but a rotating sphere and its motion explaining the dance of stars and the cosmos. In doing so, he planted the seed of heliocentrism nearly 1,000 years before Copernicus. So in 2026, as humanity propose an interplanetary mission and debates on the ethics of AI, design, science, and Aryabhat vision feels startlingly modern. What do you feel about that? Now, going forward, his courage to question orthodoxy mirror our own struggles to redefine boundaries, whether in space exploration or in digital knowledge or in global collaboration. What he offered was not just astronomy, but a philosophical revolution. A reminder that Earth is but one participant in the vast cosmic symphony.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। और हर रोज की तरह हम अपना जो दिन है उसकी शुरुआत करते हैं भगवान की पूजा करके। तो आज है बुधवार और आज तो गणेश जी की स्तुति बनता है, क्योंकि हम अपना दिन शुरू करेंगे गणेश जी की पूजा करके, क्योंकि आज का दिन उनको समर्पित है। तो बहुत ही सिंपल सा एक मंत्र हम 11 दफा पढ़ेंगे। और आप तो जानते हैं कि हर रोज की तरह हम अपनी पूजा शुरू करते हैं और जो मंत्र है 11 दफा हमें थोड़ा सा सहायता मिले तो हम इस काउंटर को यूज करते हैं। और इसमें ये बड़े आराम से हमें इसमें नंबर आ जाते हैं स्क्रीन के ऊपर, पता चल जाता है कि हमारे कितनी दफा हो गया है। तो आप कोई भी तरीका यूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात यह है कि हमारे साथ जुड़ें और हमारे साथ इस मंत्र का उच्चारण 11 दफा करें, इससे भगवान गणेश काफी खुश होते हैं। तो चलिए जी, हाथ जोड़ के हम नमन करते हैं और 11 दफा भगवान जी को याद करते हैं। ओम गण गण गणपते नमः। 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 तो दोस्तों, हमारे 11 दफा जो स्तुति थी वो पूरी हो गई भगवान गणेश की। अब हम अपना दिन स्टार्ट करेंगे आराम से। भगवान की हमने पूजा कर ली है, तो चलिए अभी आपसे विदा लेता हूँ, लेकिन जल्दी ही मिलता हूँ दूसरे वीडियो में। कहीं मत जाइएगा। Hello, friends. We all know that in today's volatile business landscape, a CEO must be more than just a strategist. They must be a vision bearer, a protector, an innovator, and a stabilizing force. Therefore, in this video, we decode the lessons learned from Bhagavad Gita and reveal the ultimate CEO matrix, a 12-point leadership framework hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Let's go. Take a look at the modern C-suite. Today's CEO is expected to be visionary, futurist, a flawless operator, and a compassionate HR leader, a ruthless cost cutter, and an unshakable anchor during a crisis. We are told to look at Silicon Valley playbook, Ivy League case studies, and agile framework to survive. But what if the most comprehensive all-weather matrix for executive leadership wasn't written in a modern business school? What if it was mapped out thousands of years ago? So friends, welcome back. Today we are cracking open a timeless text that Bhagavad Gita talks about, specifically mentioned in chapter 9 verse 18. In this single verse, an incredible 12-point leadership framework is laid out. We call it an ultimate CEO matrix. Let's decode how these 12 ancient principles can completely redefine how you run your business today. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the text. The verse begins with the word, I am the goal. I am the supporter, right? As a CEO, your first and most foundational role is to be, the goal itself. In corporate terms, this is your North Star. If the CEO vision is blurry, the entire company stumbles in the dark. Being the goal means you don't just chase quarterly profits, you define the ultimate purpose of the enterprise. Why does your company exist? Where are your steering, and where are you taking the ship? You must embody that final destination. But a goal without infrastructure is just a pipe dream. And that is why the very next word is supporter, which is Bharata. This is the ultimate nod to the servant leadership. A true CEO doesn't sit on a throne expecting to be served. You are the ultimate support system. Your job is to clear roadblocks, secure funding, provide resources, and empower your executives to do their best work. You define the destinations, but you also build the road. Next, the verse gives us two seemingly contrasting roles, which is master, in Sanskrit this is Prabhu, and witness, which is Sakshi. So let's talk about being the master. At the end of the day, accountability stops with you. When the crisis strikes, a CEO must step up, claim extreme ownership, and make tough decisions. You are the ultimate authority. But look at how the Gita balances this power. Immediately after the master, it introduced the concept of witness. This is one of the rarest, most valuable skills in the modern business. Emotional detachment. As a witness, a CEO must be able to step back from the daily fire drill, put ego aside, and observe the company objectively. Are your sales dropping because of the market trends or because your product is genuinely losing relevance? If you are too emotionally reactive as a master, you will make panicked decisions. But if you can occupy the seat of an unbiased witness, you analyze data clearly, see reality of what it is, and govern with absolute clarity. Now we move from human element of the corporate scaling, and the words highlight the three beautiful concepts, which is abode, shelter, and well-wisher. Think about the word abode, which is nivas. An abode is a home for a CEO. This means creating a corporate culture where people feel a sense of belonging. It's about building an ecosystem from talent. It doesn't just work but thrive and put down the roots. And when things go wrong, because they have always do, you must become the shelter. In the modern corporate world, fear paralyzes innovation. If your employees think a single mistake will get them fired, they will play it safe. When a microeconomics downturn hit or a bold product launch fail, a stellar CEO act as a shield. You take the blame externally while giving your team the psychological safety internally to learn, pivot, and fix it. And you do this because you are their well-wisher. A well-wisher is a friend who expects nothing in return. As a CEO, your leadership shouldn't be purely transactional. You must genuinely care about the growth, well-being, and future of your people, your customers, and your stakeholders as well. When people know their leader genuinely desire their success, loyalty isn't demand, it's naturally given. Now let's pivot to the strategy and operations. Bhagavad Gita introduced a profound triad: creation, destruction, and maintenance. This is literally the life cycle of every product, every business unit, and every market economy. First, creation. A CEO must drive innovation. You are the entrepreneurial spark, pushing for the new R&D, entering new markets, and birthing new ideas. But you cannot have creation without destruction. So in business, this is what legendary economist Joseph Schumpeter called creative destruction. As a leader, you must have courage to kill an underperforming project, sunset legacy products, and disrupt your own business models before competitor does it for you. And while you balance creating the new and destroying the old, you must also master the maintenance. This is the operational excellence. It's optimizing cash flow, stabilizing supply chain, and keeping the core engine of your company running flawlessly. The ultimate CEO knows exactly when to create, when to maintain, and when to ruthlessly destroy. Finally, the verse conclude with the ultimate asset management strategy: the reservoir and the eternal seed. The reservoir is where the wealth and the resources are stored. In business, this is your capital allocation, your treasury, your reserves, and your talent pool. A reckless CEO burns through cash to chase vanity metrics. A visionary CEO builds a deep reservoir so the company can survive dry seasons, funding droughts, and unexpected market recessions. And lastly, we have the eternal seed. What is the seed? A seed is something small today that holds the genetic blueprint of a massive forest tomorrow. Every decision you make as an executive should be a seed planted for the future. This is about legacy. It's about succession planning. It's about building a corporate value that outlasts your tenure, outlasts your current product line, and survive the decades to come. So to look at a complete matrix: goal, supporter, master, witness, abode, shelter, well-wisher, creation, destruction, maintenance, reservoir, and the eternal seeds. So when you synthesize chapter 9 verse 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, you realize that leadership isn't a one-dimensional job. It is a 360-degree spiritual and strategic responsibility. So friends, next time you walk into your boardroom or sign off on a massive corporate pivot, ask yourself, which quadrant of the matrix does my company need from me today? Do they need the witness to evaluate, the shelter to protect, or the seed to build the future? Lead holistically, lead with purpose. So friends, if you have any questions or any suggestions, kindly feel free to drop in your comments. And if this ancient framework changed how you view your modern executive role, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your fellow founders, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So see you in the masterclass next one. Before I leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now
For years, Anthropic Claude was known for as a conversational powerhouse on AI that could reason, that could assist, and also solve the complex tasks. But today, in 2026, the company has decided to redraw the boundaries of creativity. With the debut of Claude Design, Anthropic actually has stepped boldly into the visual arena, and where it offers the tool that transform and to the plain language into a polished and presentation, prototype, and marketing visual. This is not just another AI feature, but it is reimagination of how the idea takes shape. No templates, no plain canvases, just words flowing into images. For entrepreneurs, for educators, and the creators, Claude Design promises speed and accessibility. And for a design industry, it raises the questions about the originality. and artistry, and the role of human imagination in the era of machine learning, machine marketing, visual. So let's find out more about this.
In the spring of 2026, the Anthropic, the company best known for its conversational AI assist Claude, and unveiled the bold new frontiers. The Claude design, which is actually making a lot of waves in the industry. This debut marks a significant expansion of the Claude ecosystem, moving beyond the text and the code into the realm of visual creation. For years, the Anthropic had positioned itself as a competitor to OpenAI and Google in the natural language space. But with the Claude design, it signals a deep ambition to redefine how humans interact with creativity itself. The Claude design is powered by Anthropic's most advanced model, Claude Opus 4.7, a multi-model system capable of interacting not just words but visual concepts, and that this also allows the tool that the user to describe an idea into a natural language. A sleek pitch deck for fintech startup, or a prototype layout for a mobile app, and watch that the AI generates polished professional grade visuals. Presentation, one-pager, product mock-ups, and marketing materials can be drafted in minutes. And bypassing the traditional blank canvas problem that has a long haunted designers and entrepreneurs. So the launch of Claude design is not just about convenience. It is about accessibility. And Anthropic envisions a world where the founder, the product managers, and the market people who may lack formal design training can still produce compelling visual that communicate their ideas effectively. In this sense, the Claude design democratizes creativity, lowering the barriers and accelerating the workflow. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you are watching and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So moving forward, for startups, the implications are enormous. A founder preparing for an investor's pitch can now generate a professional deck overnight. So marketers can prototype campaign visuals without actually waiting for a design team. And even the educator and the students can use Claude design to create very designing and engaging presentation with minimal effort. And unsurprisingly, the debut has sparked comparison with the established platform like Canva, Figma, and Adobe Photoshop. So analysts have already begun asking whether Claude design could be Canva killer. While the Canva revolutionized the design by offering templates, drag and drop simplicity, the Claude design goes a step further. It eliminates the need for templates altogether. Instead, it listens to language and interprets the intent and produces the visual that feels tailored to the user's vision. And this shift from template to driven design to AI driven creations could reshape the competitive landscape. If the Claude design succeed, it may force incumbents to integrate deeper AI capabilities into platform, accelerating the industry's evolution. So yet, as with all generative AI, Claude design raises questions. Can AI generated visual truly match the nuances and artistry of human designers? Will the reliance of AI homogenize the creativity, producing output that feels polished but lack originality? And what of copyright and ownership? Who truly owns a AI generated design, the user or the algorithm? Now, the critics also warn the ethical risk, and just as the test-based AI has misused to generate misinformation, visual AI could be exploited to create misleading prototypes, fake branding, or even the counterfeit the documents. The Anthropic insists that safeguards are in place, but the debate is far from the settled. So, you will also agree that there's a turning point in AI creativity which is on rise. The Claude design debut is more than a product launch. It is turning point in the story of AI creativity. For Anthropic, it represents a strategic pivot from being a text-first company to embrace the multimodal intelligence. And for user, it offers a glimpse of future where the language itself becomes the interface for the design. Now, when I'm just telling you about this, I also get worried. I am with the critics because nowadays the children are also very tech savvy, and they will love Anthropic Cloud because they can turn their language into a picture which they love most because they hate writing, right? So this is something which I think I need your comments on this. Now, going forward, for a society, it raises the profound question that is there about the role of human artistry in the age where the machine can generate beauty at scale. So, Anthropic cloud design is both exhilarating and unsettling. It promises speed, accessibility, and democratization, but also challenges long-held notion of originality and authorship. As a business educator and creator, experiment with this new tool. The world will have to decide whether AI-led design is a complement to human creativity or a competitor. So in the end, cloud design is not just about making visual easier. It is about redefining the very act of creation, turning the words into the images, the ideas into the artifacts. Whether it becomes a cornerstone of a creative economy or a cautionary tale will depend on how wisely we balance innovation with integrity. So we have come to the end. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe our channel. So see you in the next one. But before we end, few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Long before the telescope pierced the skies of Renaissance Europe, a brilliant mind in 5th century India dared to challenge the cosmic order. And Aryabhat, through his Aryabhatiya, as that suggested that the earth itself was not a still center of the universe, but a rotating sphere and its motion explaining the dance of stars and the cosmos. In doing so, he planted the seed of heliocentrism nearly 1,000 years before Copernicus. So, in 2026, as humanity propose an interplanetary mission and debates on the ethics of AI, design, science, and Aryabhat vision feels startlingly modern. What do you feel about that? Now, going forward, his courage to question orthodoxy mirror our own struggles to redefine boundaries, whether in space exploration or in digital knowledge or in global collaboration. What he offered was not just astronomy, but a philosophical revolution. A reminder that Earth is but one participant in the vast cosmic symphony.
So, in the year 499 CE, a young mathematician and astronomer from India named Aryabhat composed Aryabhatiya, a text that would ripple across the centuries. And within its verses lay a daring proposition. The earth was not the immovable center of the universe, but a rotating sphere where where it also it's explained the rotating sphere, which explains the rising and settling the star. This insight, subtle but yet it was really profound at that point of time, and it also hinted at a heliocentric order, placing the sun at the center of the planetary motion, and nearly thousands years before Copernicus formalized the idea in Renaissance Europe. So Aryabhat's vision was revolutionary because it challenged the prevailing geocentric worldwide. And in both Greece and Roman, and even in Indian traditions, Earth was thought to be fixed with celestial bodies revolving around it. Aryabhat broke from this orthodoxy, suggesting that the apparent daily movement of heavens was due to Earth's own rotation. Though his heliocentric leanings were not expressed in the same systematic way as Copernicus, but definitely the seeds of the ideas were unmistakable. So if you have reached this far, please inform us about your city and from where you are tuned in, and in which language you are watching this video, and this will definitely determine the reach of our channel. So look forward. And in 2026, the Aryabhat's heliocentric vision resonates in a striking way. Humanity is once again at a crossroad of knowledge, driven not only by handwritten manuscript, but also about artificial intelligence, global collaboration. And just as Aryabhat challenged the obvious questions, Earth's immobility, today scientists and technologists challenges assumptions about the creativity, about ethics, and the boundaries of machine intelligence. His legacy also speaks to the decolonization of science. For centuries, the narrative of heliocentrism was framed as a European breakthrough. Yet, Aryabhat reminds us that scientific progress has always been global, with the contributors flowing across the cultures and continents. In an era where the India's ISRO launches a mission to Mars and to the moon, reclaiming Aryabhat's place in history is not just about, and it is definitely not just about the pride. It is also about recognizing the shared heritage of human curiosity. So Aryabhat's genius lay not only in his astronomical imagination, but in his mathematical rigor. He introduced trigonometric functions approximately and really very to the point, studying and presenting pi with a remarkable accuracy, and devised the method for calculating planetary positions. His equation implied a solar-centric system where the planetary motion could be explained more elegantly than by Earth-centric models. So these ideas traveled far beyond India, translated into Arabic into Arabic language. It was taken by Arabs, and Aryabhat's work into an Islamic world. So this is how these ideas generate a worldwide. So where the scholars they expanded upon his insights, and centuries later, fragments to its knowledge influenced by some of the fragments also influenced European thought and forming part of intellectual soil from which picked up by Copernicus heliocentric model that would grow later, and we know all this. All of us know about this. So Aryabhat's heliocentric model also feels the prophetic in the age of space exploration. So, by placing Earth as one planet among many, he reframed humanity's place in the cosmos. Today, as astronaut prepares for Mars mission and telescopes peer into distinct galaxies, his insight remind us that Earth is not the center of existence, but a part of a vast interconnected universe. So in 2026, this perspective is more urgent than ever. So climate change, geopolitical tensions, and AI-driven transformation all demand a planetary consciousness and awareness that Earth is fragile, finite, and not the axis of all the things. Aryabhat's heliocentric courage became a metaphor for humanity and responsibility in the modern age. So Aryabhat's heliocentric leaning were not merely scientific hypotheses; they were act of intellectual bravery. To suggest that Earth is itself was in motion and was also a challenging and challenging the deepest assumptions of his times. In 2026, as we grapple with the AI ethics, planetary colonization, the global collaboration, Aryabhat's example reminds us that the progress begins with questioning obvious. So his story is not just about astronomy, it is about courage to see things differently. And in that sense, Aryabhat's heliocentric revolution continues to orbit our imagination, urging us to look beyond the familiar and embrace the infinite. So we have come to the end of this video. Please like and subscribe our channel. And we look forward for your comment on this topic. But before we end this video, a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
In the silent depths of universe where the particles dance unseen and forces whisper across the void, neutrinos have long been the enigmatic wanderers, the ghost slipping through the matter as if it were air. For decades, they seemed passive, mere spectator in the cosmic play. But now, a startling revelation suggests that they may be tugging at reality itself. The discovery of subtle neutrino force hint at the invisible thread woven into quantum fabric. Thread that could reshape our understanding of stars, galaxies, and the very architecture of our cosmos. So let's find out more. In the grand tapestry of physics, certain threads remain elusive, simmering faintly at the edge of our perception. Among them are neutrinos, ghostly particles that stream through the cosmos, through our bodies, through the earth itself, almost without interaction. For decades, they were treated as a passive wanderers. So, so for decades, as they were passive wanderers and important for the balance, but not for the force. Yet, the recent discovery suggests that neutrinos may weave their own subtle thread of influence, tugging at the fabric of matter in a way we are only beginning to understand. Before we go further, let us understand what are neutrinos. So neutrinos are elementary particle that belongs to the lepton family, similar to the electrons, but unlike electrons. They carry no electric charge and have extremely small mass, making them lightest known particle with mass, though not massless. Because they do not interact via the electromagnetic or strong forces, neutrinos can pass through the ordinary matter almost completely undisturbed, which is why trillions of them pass through our bodies every second without any effect. Neutrinos are crucial for understanding the fundamental physics, including the weak nuclear force, stellar processes, and cosmology. Their unique properties make them both elusive and invaluable for probing the universe in a way that other particles cannot. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So moving forward in this interesting details, the so-called neutrino force is not a kind of a push like a gravity or electromagnetism. It is a whisper, a faint pressure that emerges when the neutrinos scatter off nuclei, leaving behind a measurable trace. Physicists long suspected such interaction, but the evidence was buried beneath the noise. So hidden in the shadow of stronger forces. So now with the executively sensitive detectors buried deep underground and shielded from the cosmic interface, the researchers have begun to tease out these hidden signals. So the implications are profound. If neutrinos exert a force, however slight, they are not merely passive messenger of a nuclear reaction, but an active participant in shaping matter. This reframed their role in stellar evolution, in supernova explosions, and even in the early universe. The faint tug of neutrinos may have influenced how galaxies cluttered and how matter danced and how the cosmic web itself was stitched together. So mapping this force requires patience and ingenuity. Detectors are filled with tons of liquid argon and heavy water wait slightly for the rare moment when the neutrino collides. And each flash of light, each ripple of energy is a clue. By collecting thousands of such events, scientists have reconstructed the hidden geometry of neutrino interactions. The emerging picture is one of the delicate thread quantum filament that connects the smallest scale of particle physics to the larger structure of cosmos. The discovery also challenges the standard model of physics that are so soft. It's like a soft framework which has guided science for half a century. Now, neutrinos were already anomalies and they oscillate between flavors and they have a mass when the theory predicted none. Now, with the evidence of the force, they may demand an extension of model, a new chapter in our understanding of fundamental interaction. For a lay person, the idea is both humbling and exhilarating, And imagine a particle so small they pass through a wall of lead as if it was a mist. Yet collectively they shape a density of stars. Imagine a universe where the invisible thread tug gently at matter, guiding its dance across billions of years. The neutrino force reminds us that the nature's most powerful influence are not always loud or obvious. They can be subtle, patient, and hidden in a plain sight. As physicists continue to map these quantum threads, they are not merely cataloging another force, they are uncovering a deeper truth. That the universe is woven from the interaction both grand and delicate, from explosion of supernova to a faintest whisper of neutrino. And in that weaving lies the story of everything. The galaxy above, the atom within, and the invisible force that binds them together. In the end, neutrino force is more than a scientific curiosity. It is a reminder that universe is stitched together by thread, both visible and unseen. Gravity may anchor the stars, electromagnetism may light the sky, but it is quite tug of neutrino that whisper of deeper harmonies. As physicists trace these quantum thread, they are not only mapping a new force, they are uncovering the poetry of existence itself, where even the faintest particle play their part in a grand design. So, invisible thread and infinite cosmos. So, we have come to the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel and see you in the next one. But before we end, few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Friends, let us stop wasting 40% of our marketing budget on fragmented workflows. By applying the Vedic mathematical sutras to your B2B strategy, we can build a self-optimizing engine that eliminates creative friction instantly. Watch in this video how this ancient algorithm precision transforms erratic production into a predictable high velocity output architecture, delivering absolute operational excellence. So today we are going to break down why this modern marketing is failing to convert and how the principles of mental agility, pattern recognition and radical simplification can be applied to our business objectives. Discover how to move from brute force marketing to high speed strategic precision. Most B2B content strategy fail because they lack the geometric precision. We are re-engineering pipeline using the workflow to turn our production cycle into high-speed scaling engines. If you demand immediate ROI and move from chaotic cycles to predictable high-volume architecture, this synthesis of ancient math and modern distribution is your unfair advantage. Let's go and discuss this further. To build a self-optimizing scaling engine, a leader must shift from managing daily tasks to designing a point of reference system that functions with strategic precision. Drawing inspirations from the Shrestha, which is the distinguished individual who set the standard for others to follow in business. The goal is to create a hierarchy of consciousness where decisions making is rooted beyond the simple data and intellect. By integrating principles like nishkam, karma or action without desire for results, a CEO can focus on dedicated performance of duties and the structural integrity of the firm while detaching their emotional self-worth from fluctuating marketing outcomes. This approach leverages the same mental agility found in the ancient computational logic to strip away the noise of the modern complexity, allowing the business to scale through radical simplification and high-speed strategic alignment. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now let's proceed further. Most B2B leaders are trapped in the platform adoption cycle. You create one great insight, then spend 10 hours manually watering it down for LinkedIn, another 5 for your YouTube, and 3 more for email, newsletter, etc. It's a brute force scaling, and that is why your growth feels like a heavy lift. Today we are basically borrowing a principle from Vedic math to fix this. It is called the let me translate in English. It says by one more than the previous one. So in math, it's a shortcut for squaring numbers. In strategy, it is the formula for a self-optimizing scaling engine. The formula doesn't start with content. It starts with a core strategic insight. Think of this like a base 10. In Vedic logic, you don't recreate the number every time you square it. You simply look at what comes before and add 1 to it. Your first step is to identify your Shrestha insight, which is the distinguished point of reference that defines your expertise. If you are a business consultant, your insight isn't how to sell. It might be the hierarchy of decision making. Once this core is solidified, we stop creating and start recursing. And here is how we apply the formula, which is insight plus 1. Instead of manual adaptation, you build a recursive system. And there are certain steps here. Step 1 is your core video or article is the previous one, right? That means you need to work on plus 1 part of it. Step 2 is system identifies the one more, the unique technical requirement of the next channel, like for example LinkedIn poll or Twitter thread or YouTube short, etc. Step 3 is instead of rewriting the system, extract the logic. So by applying this plus 1 more logic, you aren't managing 16 different channels. You are managing one engine that views each channel as a simple mathematical iteration of the original truth. And this is the nishkam karma in marketing. You focus on the dedicated performance of the core duty and the result across the 16 channels become a calculated byproduct. So why 16? In Vedic math, we often work with 16 sutras. Imagine your scaling engine is a 4 by 4 grid, and so there are several things you can do actually with this. First is direct professionals can things like LinkedIn, newsletter, white paper, etc. You can also start working on the visual impact, which includes YouTube campaigns, Instagram, SlideShare, etc. You should also look at the real-time engagement like Twitter, threads, webinars, or internal/secondary initiatives like employee advocacy, client portals, and podcast. When the formula is automated using agentic AI or standardized framework, the engine takes your single core insight and calculates the one more needed for all 16 platforms simultaneously. You move from being a content creator to a strategic point of reference. The result is radical simplification. You stop being paralyzed by the outcome across every platform and start trusting the mathematical precisions of your system. You are no longer adapting to platforms. The platforms are adapting to your logic. And that is how you build a self-optimizing engine that scales while you focus on the next big shift. So in 2026, shift towards algorithmic oversight model makes a transition from manual content moderation to high-speed point of reference system that prioritize total brand integrity. By establishing a hierarchy of consciousness within the AI, these models move beyond simple data processing to ensure that every output aligns with the core strategy value of the firm. This structural approach allows leaders to apply the principle of Nishkam Karm, focusing on dedicated performance of the system's duty while detaching from the noise of individual platform fluctuations. Consequently, organizations can achieve a 10x increase in production speed using a recursive logic to scale a single core insight across 16 channels without sacrificing the Shreshtra, which is a standard of quality. This radical simplification effectively dismantles the complexity trap, transforming the CEO's role from the bottleneck of the manual approval to the architect of self-optimizing engines. To ensure the engine remains self-correcting, you must establish a feedback loop where each modular unit functions as a diagnostic sensor of the structural health of the next one. The system mirrors the hierarchy of consciousness where the lower level data points are continuously refined by high level point of reference. To prevent the complexity trap, by treating every channel output as recursive calculation, applying the logic of one more than the previous one, the engine identifies the misalignment in real time, allowing for radical simplification rather than manual troubleshooting. This structural integrity ensures that as production speed increases by 10x, the brand's core value remains protected through automated algorithmic oversight. Ultimately, this feedback loop enables a leader to practice Nishkam Karma, focusing on the dedicated maintenance of the engine's architecture while the system itself handles the burden of self-optimization. By mastering these ancient principles of logic and efficiency, you transition from a participant to the complexity, a participant in the complexity trap to the architect of the high-speed self-optimizing system. And this approach ensures the strategic growth is not just rapid but also rooted in the structural integrity and precision required for the 2026 landscape. As you implement the Vedic engine, you fulfill the role of the Shreshta, establishing a point of reference that defines the standards for the global B2B excellence. Focus on the dedicated performance of the system and let the calculated results across your 16 channels speaks for themselves. So friends, we have come to the end. I am CK, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you and address any query, any opinion as well. See you in the next one. Before I close this session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, let me ask you, is your business trapped in a cycle of short-term wins that are secretly setting you up for a failure? If yes, then you have reached the right place. In this video, we break down a powerful 7,000-year-old leadership lesson from Bhagavad Gita that perfectly explains why successful companies suddenly go bankrupt. Many modern CEOs, business leaders, fall into the trap of chasing fleeting matrices, quarterly profit, temporary market hypes, and quick wins. But just as the Gita warns that exhausting your pity sends you back to the mortal realm, relying entirely on the past successes without continuous learning and innovation will drag your business back to square one. How this works, how this Bhagavad Gita verse help us, let's find out. Imagine this, your company just had its biggest quarter in history. Sales are through the roof, your stock prices is at all-time high, and you as a CEO are holding a trophy at an industry award gala. You are winning. But what if I told you that this exact moment of victory is the most dangerous moment of the entire career, of your entire career? What if I told you that the very mechanism behind your current success are quietly engineering your future bankruptcy? It sounds like paradox, but it happens every single day in the corporate world. We watch industry titans dominate a market only to vanish into irrelevance a few years later. Think of Nokia in 2007, think of Blockbuster, BlackBerry, or even Kodak. They weren't losing their downfall when the downfall began. They were actually winning. To understand why winning is so dangerous, we need to look at the modern economic textbook. We need to look back, 7,000 years ago on a battlefield. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 21, there is a profound psychological and strategic blueprint that explains exactly why successful entities collapses. Today, we are going to decode this timeless verse and look at the ultimate trap waiting for modern CEOs. So friends, if you've reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you're watching this video. This will help us determine who's actually watching the entire video and who's not. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the verse itself. The text states and the quote starts, when they exhaust their piety, they return to planet of mortals. The Vedic rituals can give you only so much of fleeting pleasures, followed by entanglement in the cycle of life and death again and again. And the quote close. Now, if you look at this purely through a religious or spiritual lens, it's talking about karma and afterlife. It describes people who perform good deeds and rituals to enter Swarga, the heavenly realm. They enjoy immense god-like pleasures, but there is a catch. Those pleasures are finite. The moment their pious merits runs out, they are instantly dropped right back to earth, trapped in a grueling cycle of life and death. But let's translate this into modern corporate language now, so that it makes sense for us. In business, piety or the merit is your competitive advantage. It's your breakthrough product, your brilliant initial strategy, or a favorable market trend. Vedic rituals are standard corporate processes. Your quarterly meetings, your recurring marketing campaigns, your traditional sales funnels, the structure that worked for you in the past. And the fleeting pleasures, what are those? That's your short-term revenue, your high profit margins, and your soaring valuation. Bhagavad Gita is giving us stark warning about expiration date of success. It tells us that no matter how high you fly on the merit of your past actions, that merit is a bank account that eventually hits zero. If you rely solely on your established corporate rituals without generating new value, you will exhaust your merit and crash straight back to the mortal realm, which in business means stagnation, disruption, and ultimate bankruptcy. Let's talk about how a CEO unknowingly exhausts their piety on Wall Street or in their startup ecosystem. When their company achieves product market fit, it experiences a massive rush of growth. Money pours in, the board is happy, the CEO feels invincible. This is the business equivalent of entering the heavenly realm. But this success creates a dangerous psychological trap, which is complacency disguised as efficiency. Instead of continuing to innovate, explore, and learn, the company shifts all its energy into protecting when it's already whatever it has. The CEO starts focusing entirely on executing the same old rituals. They optimize the supply chain by 2%. They squeeze another 1% out of marketing budget, and they repeat the exact formula that brought them here. They mistake operational efficiency for strategic longevity. Look at Nokia. In mid 2000s, they had a mountain of pious merit. They owned over 40% of the global mobile phone market. Their internal rituals, their hardware engineering and manufacturing pipeline were flawless. But while they were enjoying the fleeting pleasures of massive quarterly profits, the underlying landscape shifted. The iPhone arrived. Operating system changed from physical keypads to software ecosystem. Nokia past merit ran out faster than they could adapt. They hadn't invested in learning how to build a world-class software platform. Within a few short years, they returned to the planet of mortals. Their market share plummeted to near zero. They didn't fall because they stopped working hard. They failed because they kept performing the rituals of a world that no longer existed. The second part of the verse warns you of being entangled in the cycle of life and death again and again. In the corporate world, this is what I call the karmic loop of business. When a company relies entirely on a short-term win, it becomes trapped in a frantic reactionary cycle. It looks like this. You experience a drop in sales because your product is getting outdated. How do you respond? Instead of fundamentally learning, innovating, and redesigning your strategy, you look for a quick fix, a corporate ritual, and you launch a massive discount campaign, or you cut cost by laying off staff to make quarterly balance sheet looks good. Boom, your number spikes up temporarily, you feel fleeting sense of pleasure, etc., etc. But because you didn't fix the root cause, your lack of innovation and learning, the numbers drop again a few months later. So what do? You repeat the cycle once more. More discounts, more cost cutting, more short term tricks, right? This is a treadmill of corporate survival. You are running as fast as you can just to stay in the exact same place, burning through your resources until finally you hit a wall, the market shifts permanently, your tricks stop working, and the business goes bankrupt. True leadership requires breaking free from the loop. It requires realizing that hitting this quarter's target is not the guarantee of the next year's survival. So, how does a modern CEO prevent their business from bankrupting itself during a winning streak? How do you stop your corporate piety from running out? The answer lies in shifting your mindset from exploitation to exploration. Unlock your infinite growth, which means understanding that your current success is merely a runaway. It's a buffer of time and capital given to you for one primary purpose: to fund your learning for the future. As a leader, you must never let your organization's capacity to execute outpace its capacity to learn. Dedicate a portion of your win not just to dividend or to stock buyback, but to relentless research and development. Build a corporate culture where questioning your own success is rewarded. Constantly ask your leadership team, what are the Vedic rituals we are performing out of habit that will become obsolete in 3 years? Bhagavad Gita reminds us that the temporary rewards are an illusion. In the world of business, if you are only playing for the next quarter, you are playing a finite game that has guaranteed end date. Don't let your current victories blind you. Treat your success not as a destination to rest in, but as a resource to burn as you build the future. Stop chasing the fleeting pleasures of short term metrics. Break free from the corporate loop and invest heavily in the continuous learning. And that is how you take a business from temporary mortal success and make it truly immortal. So, friends, if you have any questions, feel free to send it across. Thanks for joining live. Thanks for watching. If this timeless insight changed the way you view your current business strategy, hit the like button, share it with your fellow leaders, and subscribe for more deep dive into ancient wisdom for the modern executive. And let me know in the comments below, what is one corporate ritual your company needs to rethink today. So I will see you in the next video. But before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now
Sun is not silent. It speaks in the burst of invisible thunder. For centuries, we have seen its flare and storm, but Parker Solar Probe has now tuned our ears to a deeper frequency. Hidden within the blazing corona, magnetic switchbacks snaps like a cosmic whisper, unleashing radio waves that ripple across the solar system. And these bursts are more than a whisper of plasma. They are sun's coded signals carrying secrets of its magnetic heart and warning of storm yet to come. In this revelation, Parker has transformed our star from blazing sphere into a storyteller. Its switchbacks composing a hidden symphony of light and sound. Let's find out more about this. The sun, our nearest star, has always been a restless giant. Its surface boiling with plasma, its atmosphere alive with storms. For centuries, astronauts have watched solar flares and coronal mass ejection ripple outward, sometimes striking Earth with a magnetic tempest. Yet beneath its familiar drama lies subtle mysteries, whisper of radio waves, flickers of magnet turbulence, and that only the most daring spacecraft can unveil. The Parker Solar Probe, humanity's closest emissary to the sun, has now peeled back another layer of its enigma, revealing hidden magnetic switchbacks that gives rise to solar radio bursts. So, radio bursts are sudden and outpouring of electromagnetic energies and streaming across space like invisible thunderclap. They are often triggered when the charged particle accelerate along the magnetic field lines, releasing energy in the form of radio waves. For decades, scientists knew these bursts existed, but their precise origin remained elusive. Were they born in the corona tangled loop? Did they emerge from the shock wave racing through the solar wind? But now Parker Solar Probe diving deep and close to the sun's surface has provided the most intimate clues yet. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine reach of our channel. So going forward, as the probe skimmed through the solar atmosphere, its instruments detected abrupt revelation, abrupt uprising the magnetic field. Switchbacks like a king in the garden hose. These switchbacks are not gentle bend, but actually sharp zigzags, flipping the direction of the magnetic field from a brief moment before snapping back. Each switchback carries plasma along with it, accelerating particles and steering the turbulence. The new data suggests that these magnetic switchbacks are fertile ground for radio burst. Miniature accelerator that hurl electrons into spiral, producing the radio signal that astronomers detect across the solar system. So these insight reshapes our understanding and space weather. Now going forward, the discovery is definitely profound. It's linked with the two previously disconnected phenomena. On one hand, switchbacks were known as the oddities in the solar wind, puzzling features that hint at the chaotic dynamics near the sun. And on the other hand, radio bursts were catalogued as a distinct emissions useful for diagnosing the solar storm, but poorly understood in origin. The Parker finding weave them together, and the switchbacks are now not mere curiosities but engine of radio emission, shaping the very soundtrack of sun's activity. So radio bursts are not just academic curiosity, as we have already mentioned. They are interface or with the communication, navigation system, even the spacecraft operations. By tracing them back to the magnetic switchbacks, scientists gain predictive power. If switchbacks can be mapped and modeled, then the radio burst and the storm they create can be anticipated with a greater accuracy. So in essence, Parker has given us a new diagnostic tool, a way to listen to the sun's magnetic heartbeat and foresee its disruptive pulse. The implication extend beyond Earth. Radio bursts ripple through the heliosphere and the vast bubble of solar influence that envelops the planet. They may play a role for accelerating cosmic rays, shaping a planetary magneto atmosphere, and even the influencing the chemistry of atmosphere. So for Mars, with its magnetic shield, such burst could be particularly consequential and steering its upper atmosphere and affecting its future. Human explorer, and that is a good info data for the human explorer and the astronauts. For distinct spacecraft, understanding radio burst is vital for shielding electronics and maintaining communication link. And this is also a poetic dimension to its discovery. The sun, often imagined as a blazing sphere of light, now reveals itself as a symphony of invisible signals. Its magnetic field twists and snaps like violin strings, producing radio notes that echo across the space. So Parker's solar probe, actually braving the furnace of Corona, has become our ear pressing against the star, catching whispers that were once lost in the cosmic din. Each switchback is a stanza, each burst is a refrain, and composing a hidden music of the sun. So looking ahead, scientists will combine Parker's data with observation from other missions such as Solar Orbiter to build a full picture. Together, these spacecraft will actually triangulate the origin of burst and map the geometry of the switchbacks and refine model of solar wind. So the ultimate goal is not to understand the sun, but to live safely within its influence. As humanity ventures deeper into space, towards the moon, Mars, and beyond, predicting solar radio burst will be essential as a forecasting storms on the earth. So in a grand narrative of exploration, Parker's discovery is reminder that even the familiar star hold secrets. The sun, which has actually shining upon the earth for billions of years, is still teaching us how its magnetic heart beats. And hidden switchbacks, once invisible, now stands revealed as an architect of radio storm. And with each revelation, we drew closer to mastering the cosmic weather that shapes our destiny among the stars. So in the end, Parker's solar probe has shown us that the sun is not just a blazing sphere of light, but a restless storyteller weaving its tale through the magnetic switchbacks and radio burst. Each hidden kink in this field is a spark of revelation. Each burst a message carried across the solar system. By decoding these signals, we are not only learning to predict the storm that shapes our cosmic environment, but also hearing for the first time the sun's secret voice. The discovery reminds us that even the most familiar star still holds mysteries are waiting to be unveiled, and with every orbit, the Parker brings us closer to understanding the rhythm of our star's eternal symphony. So, for today, we have come to the end. Magnetic strings and cosmic echoes. That's what is very amazing and very kind of good to really know more about it. So thanks for watching. Please please like and subscribe our channel. See you in the next one. But before we end, few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready, comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, let me ask you, have you ever wondered about the origin of the universe, or if there is a force that transcends even the greatest cosmic beings? In order to answer this very profound question, we will take a deep dive into the most profound verses of Bhagavad Gita, more specifically chapter 10 verse 2. In this shlok, Bhagwan Krishna reveals a startling truth, and the quote starts, "Neither the host of demigods nor the greatest of the sages know my origin. For all in respects, I am the source of the demigods as well as the sages." And the quote close. Join us as we break down the philosophy behind this powerful statement. We explore what it means to be the source of all, why even the greatest celestial being cannot fathom this ultimate reality, and how understanding this concept can transform your perspective on life, spirituality, and the nature of the universe. Let's go. Have you ever looked at the night sky and wondered who created all this? We often look for answers in science, history, or even philosophy. But what if the origin of everything was not a what, but who? And what if that who was beyond the reach of even the most enlightened being in existence? Today we are exploring one of the most profound, humbling, and mysterious verses in the entire Bhagavad Gita, mentioned in chapter 10, and the verse number is 2. It is a verse that shifts our entire perspective on the cosmos. I am CK, and today we are unraveling the source of everything. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand the magnitude of this verse, we need to set the stage. In the Vedic worldview, the universe is vast and layered. We have humanity, but above us are the rishis, the great sages, the seers who possesses knowledge that span across time and dimensions. Above them we have the devtas, the celestial administrators, and the being who manage the force of nature, from the sun to the wind to the rain. These are beings of immense power and intellect. They are essentially the architect of our immediate cosmic reality. Now, naturally, you might assume that if anyone knows the secret of the universe, if anyone knows the beginning, it would be these higher beings. They are closer to the divine after all. But then Krishna speaks in chapter 10, verse 2, and his words are absolute. And the verse reads like this: Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin. For all in all respect, I am the source of the demigods and the sages, and the quote close. Think about the weight of that statement. Krishna isn't just saying I am great. He is defining a fundamental limit to knowledge itself. He is telling Arjun and also us indirectly that even the most advanced, powerful and enlightened entity in the universe are looking at the effect, while he is the cause. You cannot trace a river back to the source if you are standing in the middle of the river, and the source is the very water that sustains you. So why would the Gita emphasize this so early in the Bhubhiti Yoga chapter? First, it's a lesson in humility. If the greatest sages and the God doesn't know the origin of the source, it invites us to drop our arrogance. It reminds us that human logic, though brilliant, is finite. We are trying to measure an infinite architect using a finite rule. Second, it establishes non-duality. Krishna is stating that he is not a separate entity that appeared in the universe at some point in time. He is the pre-existing cause. Before the sun was lit, before the first rishi meditated, before the first devta took the post, he was already present. This brings us to the ultimate cosmic mystery. We often search for God in the end, at the end of our life, or at the end of our problem. But this verse challenges us to look for the beginning. It seeks the source rather than just the object that the source has been created. So, friends, what do you do with this information if the source is beyond the reach of gods and even sages? Is it impossible to know? The irony is, while they cannot know this origin because he has no origin, they can know him through devotion and realization. The Gita is not meant to keep us in the dark, it is meant to guide us to the light. So, when you struggle with the whys of your life, when you feel small in this vast universe, remember this verse. You are not a random accident. You are connected to the very source that even the celestial being acknowledge. You don't need to figure out the origin with your intellect. You cannot you cannot actually reach the source itself. You connect to it with your heart. The universe is not a collection of matter. It's a manifestation of a divine source. So, friends, chapter 10 verse 2 is our invitation to stop looking at the scenery and start looking at the architect. Thank you for joining in this journey through the cosmic mystery with me today. If this shifts your perspective, please leave a comment below. And I will also like to ask you, what does the source mean to you in your daily life? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. Once again, I am CK and I will see you very soon in the next one. Before I go today, let me share a word about affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, can the ancient wisdom solve the modern CEO's biggest challenge? In order to answer this question, we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita to explore why the state of Samadhi is becoming the ultimate North Star for the 21st century executive. In the area of market volatility and constant burnout, a leader's greatest asset isn't their strategy, it is their equanimity. We break down the Sanskrit wisdom of Yajna, Kam, and Kushalam through the lens of verse 6.23, which teaches us the true mastery is a state where no external crisis can perturb your inner peace. In the modern corporate world, we have a name for the principle of success. We call it making it. We envision the corner office, the global influence, the high stake decisions, etc. But if you ask a CEO today what their reality actually looks like, they won't talk about victory. They will talk about volatility. They will talk about the 3 a.m. anxiety, the black swan event, the crushing weight of responsibility for thousands of employees, and the constant noise of 24/7 market. Most leaders are living in a state of high functioning panic. But if I told you that 7,000 years ago, on a battlefield far removed from the glass skyscrapers, a solution was written for exactly this kind of pressure. Today we are looking at Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 23. We are going to explore why Samadhi, a term often reserved for monks in caves, is actually the most practical, competitive, and essential goal for the modern executive. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you're watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Let's continue. Let's look at the text, verse 23 of chapter 6, and it says, quote starts, "Let it be known that the state of the severance from the union with the misery is called yoga. This yoga must be practiced with determination and an unprecedented mind." Now let's unpack this first phrase, the severance from the union with misery. As a CEO, you often united with the outcome of your company. If the stock drops, you are miserable. If a competitor launches a better product, you are miserable again. Verse 23 suggests a state of yoga which we call samadhi, where that cord is cut. It isn't that the problem go away. It is that your union with the pain of those problems is severed. This is the state where the leader knows there is nothing greater left to achieve. It is about retirement. It's about reaching a level of internal mastery that makes external chaos irrelevant. The verse continues to explain that in this state, the practitioner is not perturbed by anything come what may. Think about the last crisis you faced. Did you react or did you respond? Well, reaction is emotional. It is driven by the fear of loss. Response is intellectual. It is driven by the samadhi, by clarity. For a CEO, being unperturbed is a superpower. Imagine a boardroom where everyone is losing their head because of the quarterly mess. The leader who has mastered Gita 6.23 sits in the center of the storm. They aren't cold or indifferent. They are simply not shaken. Because they have attained an internal samadhi, their decision making remains clinical, creative, and objective. While others are blinded by the misery, the samadhi led executive sees the path forward. This is the difference between a leader who survives and leader who resigns. Now the Gita is very, very practical. It doesn't say the state happens by accident. It says the state is achieved only by practicing yoga with determination and optimism. So there are several Sanskrit words related to determinism, and the mind does not become despondent. So we will move on. We will not try and read those Sanskrit words in this verse. For an executive, determination means the discipline of the routine. It's the daily meditation, the deep work, the refusal to let the inbox dictate your soul, etc. What is optimism? Optimism is even more critical. In business, things go wrong, projects fail, partnerships soars. If your mind becomes despondent, if you lose your optimism, your leadership dies. The Gita tells us that samadhi isn't a gift for the lucky one. It's a result of the disciplined mind. It's a practice. You have to train your brain to return to center every single day, just as you would train your body in the gym. Now let's talk about the bottom line. Where should a CEO care about the ancient Sanskrit verses? First is cognitive longevity. Stress kills creativity and samadhi preserves it. Next, talent retention. People follow unperturbed leaders, they don't follow the panicked ones. Third, risk management. When you are free from misery, you don't make desperate, high risk gambles to save your ego. You make calculated moves to grow the vision. In the past, we thought the goal of an executive was more market, more share, more revenue, more accolades. But the Gita suggests that the new executive goal is actually enough. When you reach a state where you know there is nothing greater left to achieve, internally you paradoxically become more effective at achieving things externally. You are no longer hungry and desperate. You are focused and formidable. So as we close this lesson from chapter 6, verse 23, I leave you with a challenge. Look at your calendar for the next week. How much of it is dedicated to the union with misery, the firefighting, the stressing and reacting, and how much is dedicated to severance, the practice of finding your center. The corner office was never meant to be a cage of anxiety. It was meant to be a seat of wisdom. Practice with determination, lead with optimism, and find the state of samadhi where, come what may, you remain the master of your own soul. Thanks for listening, friends. If you have any question or any suggestions, kindly send us a message in the message section below. Before I close this session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
centuries before telescope unveiled the galaxies and the rover tested the Martian soil, Bodhayana inscribed geometry into sacred verses of Vedas. His Salva Sutra transformed rituals into science, altar into cosmos, and proportions into law. His vision, the diagonal of square, was not just a measure, it was a bridge between Earth and the infinity. Today, as scientists decode organic molecule on Mars and stimulate the universe and map billions of galaxies, the Bodhian's legacy feels startlingly alive. His mathematics whispers across millennia. Symmetry is eternal. The cosmos itself is an altar of proportion. From sacred fire to cosmos light, Bodhyan's geometry still validates the universe unfolding design. We are talking about first ever Indian mathematician who came up with the several concepts in mathematics. So let's find out more. So in the long arc of human enquiries, certain names emerges as quiet yet foundational. Bodhyan, the sage of Vedic age, stands among them. Living nearly 3 millennia ago, he authored Salva Sutra, a text that is first glance seemed ritualistic, guides for constructing altar, but in truth, the conceals the profound or construction of mathematical and cosmological wisdom. His work reminds us that the science often begin in service of culture and spirituality, yet transcends them to touch the universal truth. Bodhyan is credited with articulating what we now call the Pythagoras theorem. Now, centuries before the Pythagoras himself. So, in his verses, he declared how the diagonal of square relates to its sides and how the right angle triangles obey a precise relationship. And this was not an abstract geometry, but its own sake. It was applied science, ensuring that the sacred fire altar were built with a perfect symmetry, aligned human rituals with cosmic order. So in this way, mathematics became a bridge between earthly and the divine. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. That will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So moving forward on this interesting topic, today as cosmologists map the universe with supercomputer and telescope, the Bodhyan's spirit lingers. His insistence on proportion, symmetry, and when the scientists describe the geometry of space-time, or when they calculate the curvature of cosmos, they are hiring the tradition that began with the sages who saw geometry as sacred. The altar became prototype for the universe itself, a structure governed by law, balance, and hidden harmonies. So Bodhyan also ventured into approximations of pi, recognizing the challenges of square, the circle, and this pursuit resonates with today's cosmology when the constant like pi or E and the fine structured constant define the architecture of reality. Just as Bodhyan sought to reconcile circle and the square, the modern physicists strive to reconcile quantum mechanics and relativity, and two geometries of existence that demands unification. So in the current century, cosmology is ablaze with the discoveries. Dark energies accelerating the universe, gravitational waves rippling through the space-time, an organic molecule found on Mars hinting at habitability. So each breakthrough reminds us that the cosmos is not static but dynamic, layered with mysteries. So Baudrillard's vision of geometry as a living principle aligned with the modern view. He saw mathematics not as a cold abstraction but a language of transformation, fire becoming energy, and alter becoming cosmos, proportion becoming harmony. So there is also philosophical thread. Baudrillard's work suggests that the knowledge is cumulative, passed orally, refined through practice, and embedded in the culture. So today, scientist community mirrors this, building on a centuries of inquiries, sharing data across the continent, and treating discoveries as a collective inheritance. The Large Hadron Collider, or the James Webb Space Telescope, or the quantum stimulator are modern altar constructed with the precision to prove the mysteries of existence. In reflecting on Baudrillard's, we see a continuum where the Vedic ritual geometry to the cosmological stimulations of universe fate. His legacy is not confined to the ancient India. It is a part of humanity's shared quest to understand the order in chaos. The 7 organic molecules on Mars, the mapping of billions of galaxies, the decoding of quantum materials, all chapter in the same story he began. So the search for the pattern that reveal life, meaning, and the cosmos design. So thus Baudrillard is more than a mathematician of antiquity. He is symbol of how science and spirituality can converge, and how geometry can both alter and universe, and how the ancient insight can resonate with the most advanced cosmological theories of our time, that is 2026. So his voice carried across millennia reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is itself a sacred act, binding us to the cosmos in a proportion, symmetry, and wonder. So Baudrillard's verses remind us that the search for order in the universe is timeless. What began as a sacred geometry for fire altar now resonate in the equation of cosmology and the mapping of galaxies and decoding of Martian organics. His legacy validates the truth that science and spirituality are not opposite but a companion actually, and each seeking proportion, symmetry, and meaning in the vast unknown. So as the modern discoveries unfold, Baudrillard's voice still echoes. The cosmos is designed. Humanity's role is to read its geometry and reverence and definitely wonder. We do all the time. No? So we have come to the end of this wonderful video. We'll please like and subscribe our channel, and we'll look you in the next one. Waiting for your comments on this topic. But before we actually end this video, a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. In the world of high-stake business, we talk about freedom. We in fact talk a lot about freedom and market freedom, financial freedom, the freedom to innovate. But for the modern CEO, the reality is often opposite. You are tethered to the stock ticker, bound by the expectations of the board, and often a prisoner to your own decision-making loop. We call this the invisible ceiling, the point where your intelligence and hard work cannot take you any further because your mind is too cluttered with the noise of the trade. But what if there was a way to achieve a state of strategic liberation, a state where you operate with absolute clarity, where your decisions are not reactive but visionary? Over 7,000 years ago, a roadmap for this exact state was laid out in a dialogue on a battlefield. Today we are looking at Bhagavad Gita chapter 5 verse 17. It's not just a spiritual mantra, it is the ultimate executive manual for the 21st century. Those whose intellect is merged in Him, whose mind is one with Him, who are established in Him, for whom He is the supreme goal, their sins being dispelled by knowledge, go to the state from which there is no return. Well, this is a quote and translated into English. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel, and I will also know who's watching and who's not. Now let's proceed further. To a CEO, this might sound like a religious abstraction, but let's translate this into leadership language. The words identify 4 pillars of focus. First, intellect. What is the intellect? Your strategic analytical power. Next, mind. Your emotional intelligence and focus. Third, establishment. Your core values and conviction. Fourth, the goal. Your ultimate vision or the North Star. So the Gita suggests that when these 4 are aligned with supreme truth, or in the business terms, a transcendental purpose, you reach a state of no return. In business, that is a definition of the legacy. One of the most striking phrases in this verse is the sin destroyed by knowledge. In a boardroom, we don't use the word sin, but we do use word error. In this context, sin refers to the mental impurities that could cloud judgment. Ego, attachment to a specific outcome, fear of failure, cognitive biases, etc. Think of these as the cognitive debt. Every time you make a decision based on your ego rather than data point, you base on how we have always done it rather than the truth. You accrue debt. This debt slows your company down and it creates a friction. So the Gita says this debt is destroyed by knowledge, not just information. We have plenty of that, but realized knowledge is missing here. This is the ability to see the market, your competitor, your own team exactly as they are, without distorting the lens of your own desires or fears. When knowledge destroys error, liberation begins. The verse ends with bold promise, the path of liberation where there is no rebirth. The spiritual terms, this is the moksha. In the boardroom, this is the high performance flow state. No rebirth means you stop repeating the same mistake. Have you ever noticed that how some companies seems to hit the same wall every 5 years? The same culture issues, the same product, market fit struggles, the same leadership turnover, and that is a cycle of rebirth in business. The strategic liberation means moving past those cycles. It means your leadership has evolved to a point where you are no longer a manager of crisis, but a creator of realities. You have reached a level of clarity where you don't have to go back to the old ways of struggling. You are no longer reacting to the waves. You are the ocean yourself. So how does you apply Gita 5.17 on a Tuesday morning before a merger or a product launch. I have few tips for you. First, fix the intellect. Start your day by detaching from the outcome. Focus entirely on the integrity of the strategy. Next, dissolve your ego. Ask yourself, am I making this choice to be right or to be effective? If it is to be right, that's the sin. And the verse mentions this very clearly. Let knowledge dissolve it. Right? Next is establish the North Star. Ensure your supreme goal isn't just this quarter's earning, but a purpose that provides value to the world. When your goal is supreme, your stamina becomes infinite. True leadership isn't about control, it's about alignment. Chapter 5, verse 17 of Bhagavad Gita teaches us that when our intellect, mind, and faith are fixed on a truth higher than our own, we become liberated from the friction of the corporate world. We move beyond the boardroom. We stop being driven by the fear of loss and start being pulled by the power of vision. This is the strategic liberation. That is the path of the sage leader. The question isn't whether you can afford to learn these lessons. The question is, can you afford the rebirth of your past mistakes, and what happens if you don't? My name is CK, and this has been a look into the timeless wisdom of Gita for the modern executive. Thanks for joining live. Thanks for listening. Before we move on to the next video, a few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, we all know that the stars, when they run out of their fuel, explodes into a supernova, especially the kind of star which are much larger than sun. They have to be larger than sun in order to become a supernova. However, there are certain stars which don't simply explode. They turn into a hot blowtorch. And this is a very specific phenomena. And to understand this type of supernova, we will take a deep dive into high energy astrophysics, and we will examine this phenomena, which is known as hotter than hell, also known in scientific term as the fast blue optical transient, and also known as the blue death. What is this phenomena? Let us explore this further.
Friends, in the vacuum of space, color is a liar. We have been taught from childhood that the red means hot and the blue means cool. Think of your kitchen faucet. But in the realm of high energy astrophysics, the universe flipped the script. Red is the color of dying ember and blue is the color of cosmic blowtorch. But most stars end their lives in a predictable fiery explosion we call supernova. They expand, they glow red or orange, and they fade over months. But recently we have discovered something that defies this particular rule. A class of explosion so fast, so bright, and so intensely blue that they have earned a terrifying nickname, which is fast blue optical transient, or FBOT. So we call them FBOTs. Today we are diving into the hotter than hell physics of blue stellar deaths. We aren't just talking about big explosions, we're talking about the most violent thermal events since the Big Bang. Well, friends, if you've reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand why a blue death is so significant, we have to talk about Wien displacement law. In simple terms, the hotter an object is, the shorter the wavelength of the light it emits. A standard supernova might reach temperature of 10,000 to 20,000 Kelvin. That put them firmly in the visible white to yellow range. But these blue transient, they are screaming at a temperature exceeding 40,000 Kelvin, and in some cases hitting hundreds of thousands of degrees in their initial movements. When a star dies blue, it is telling that the energy density is off the chart. It is not just emitting light, it is emitting high frequency, high energy photons that sit right on the edge of the ultraviolet and X-ray spectrum. The question is, what kind of star has enough fuel to die this spectacularly? You can't get a blue explosion from a boring star like our sun. For a hotter than hell exit, you need a Wolf-Rayet star. These are the heavyweight of the galaxy. Stars that started out at 20 or 30 times the mass of sun, but has already blown off their outer layers of hydrogen. What is left is naked exposed core of helium, carbon and oxygen burning with a ferocity that is hard to visualize. Because they have lost their cushion of hydrogen, when the core collapses, there is nothing to slow down the shock wave. It is like an engine exploding without a hood. The energy hits the vacuum of space instantly. This lack of an outer envelope is the first ingredient in the recipe for the fast blue optical transient. For a long time, these were just theoretical. Then came a phenomenon known as AT2018 COW, which is cow, AT2018 cow. Astronomers affectionately called it the cow because of its random letter designation. But there was nothing gentle about it. The cow was 10 to 100 times brighter than the normal supernova, and it reached its peak brightness in just 3 days. A typical supernova takes weeks to ramp up. The cow didn't just explode, it flashed. What shocked scientists most was the blue signature. It stayed hot for far too long. According to the standard physics, it should have cooled down as the debris expanded. Instead, it was as if there was a central engine, a hidden furnace inside the wreckage, pumping out fresh energy and keeping the temperature at a blistering blue hot level. So what is that central engine? Physicists currently have two main theories for how these blue deaths occur. Imagine the core collapse. It is so massive that it skips the explosion phase and goes straight into a black hole. As the rest of the star tries to fall into the black hole, it creates a massive traffic jam called accretion disk. This disk spins so fast and gets so hot, it launches a jet of plasma through the star's, whatever the star remains, and nearly at the speed of light. That jet is blue light we see. In this version, the core collapses into a magnetar, a neutron star with a magnetic field trillion times stronger than the Earth's, spinning hundred of time per second. This magnetic whirling injects a colossal amount of kinetic energy into the explosion, acting like a cosmic microwave that keeps the debris cloud at blue hot temperature. So why do we spend millions of dollars on these expensive telescopes to find these blue blips? because they are the laboratories of the extreme. FPOTs allow us to watch the birth of black holes and magnetars in real time. Usually, we find these objects millions of years after they were formed. With blue stellar death, we are seeing the first cry of a new celestial monster. They also act as the cosmic flashlights because they are so bright. They illuminate the gas and dust in distant galaxies, helping us map the cosmic web that holds the universe together. Every time we catch a blue flash, we are refining our understanding of how matter behaves under the most extreme gravity and heat possible. The universe is a violent place, but there is a strange beauty in its destruction. A blue stellar death is the ultimate paradox. A star that has run out of life yet shines with more intensity than billion suns combined. It's a final defiant scream across the vacuum. Next time, when you look up at a clear night sky, remember that twinkling white stars are just the beginning. Out there in the deep dark, something is turning blue, breaking the laws of physics and providing that something truly are hotter than hell. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this deep dive into physics of the cosmos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep looking up. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, let me ask you, are you leading your business with the clarity needed for the modern market? In this video, we explore a powerful leadership lesson hidden in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 14. By analyzing the imagery of Arjun and Madhav, which is Lord Krishna's another name, on their divine chariot, we uncover the ancient blueprint for the strategic alignment, decisive action and leadership focus. Just as the divine conch signaled readiness for the battle ahead, the CEOs and the business leaders today must ensure their team, vision, and strategy are perfectly aligned before making your next big move. Discover how integrating these timeless principles can help you and lead your organization with greater purpose and competitive edge. Let's go and explore this further. Welcome. If you are a CEO or a leader in the modern boardroom, you know that the greatest challenge isn't just having a vision, it is the execution. It is ensuring that every department, every manager, and every employee is pulling in the same direction at the exactly the same time. In the corporate world, we call this strategic alignment. But what if I told you that one of the most sophisticated blueprint for alignment was documented thousands of years ago, and therefore today we are looking at the Bhagavad Gita's wisdom, specifically mentioned in chapter 1, verse 14. The verse read, "From Pandav camp, the Madhav and Arjun blew his divine conch from the glorious chariot drawn by the white horses." And uh, this is basically a glorious chariot drawn by the white horses. On the surface, this is a scene of the preparation for war, but for the modern executive, this is the masterclass in organizational readiness. Let's break down how this ancient signal translate into a high-stake modern business strategy. Let us deconstruct the verse. You have the chariot, the white horses, and the divine conch. The chariot, which is your business model, the chariot represents the structural foundation of your organization. It must be glorious, meaning robust, well maintained, and built to handle the terrain of the competitive market. Next is the white horses, which is your strategic asset. Horses in Gita symbolizes the senses and energy driving the movement. For a CEO, these are your teams, your capital, and your technology. If your horses are not perfectly aligned, the chariot moves into circles and therefore it will not go anywhere. Next is divine conch, the leadership, which is the leadership signal. This is the most crucial part. Before we blow this conch, which is the signal, it is what a movement of unified communication. So what Krishna is trying to tell you is that it is basically about the unified communication. So why do so many companies fail? It is rarely a lack of resource, it's a lack of alignment. As a CEO, your job is to blow the conch. You are the source of signal. If your signal, your vision is muffled or inconsistent, your horses will lose focus. Unified decision making definitely is important here. Like Arjun and Madhav, you need a partnership between the driver, which is the operation strategy, and the warrior, which is the market execution. And this will all basically all about readiness. The blowing of the conch signifies that the decision has been made and the organization is now in a state of readiness for execution. No more deliberations are required, no more doubts. The signals have been given. Friends, how do we apply this on Monday morning? Very good concept, but how do we actually implement it? First is audit your signals. Are you constantly pivoting, or is your conch blast clear enough for everybody to understand? If you have to repeat your vision daily, it means it hasn't been integrated into the teams yet. Ensure your white horse, which is the health or organizations, are your resources, your teams, and technology healthy and prepare for the intensity of the market. And aligned strategy fails if the asset pulling the chariot are exhausted or mismanaged. The feedback loop. In the Gita, the sound of the conch was meant to be heard across the entire field. Your internal communication must have every level of your organization from C suite to the front line. To conclude, chapter 1, verse 14 is not just description of the battlefield, it is a description of the leadership integrity. When leadership is aligned, the strategy is executed with divine precision. Your business is your chariot, your teams are your horses, your vision is the sound of your conch shell. When you blow the signal with absolute clarity, the market listens, and more importantly, your organization moves as one entity towards your ultimate goal. So, friends, this is a lesson from Bhagavad Gita. Thanks for joining this exploration of the ancient wisdom for the modern CEO. If you found this helpful, take a moment to look at how your own chariot is aligned today. So, friends, I will catch you again very soon in the next one. Please do not hesitate to send across your opinion or any question you might have. See you in the next one.
For years, Anthropic Claude was known for as a conversational powerhouse on AI that could reason, that could assist, and also solve the complex tasks. But today, in 2026, the company has decided to redraw the boundaries of creativity. With the debut of Claude Design, Anthropic actually has stepped boldly into the visual arena, and where it offers the tool that transform and to the plain language into a polished and presentation prototype and marketing visual. This is not just another AI feature, but it is reimagination of how the idea takes shape. No templates, no plain canvases, just words flowing into images. For entrepreneurs, for educators and the creators, Claude Design promises speed and accessibility. And for a design industry, it raises the questions about the originality and artistry and the role of human imagination in the era of machine learning, machine marketing, visual. So let's find out more about this.
In the spring of 2026, the Anthropic, the company best known for its conversational AI assist Claude, and unveiled the bold new frontiers. The Claude Design, which is actually making a lot of waves in the industry. This debut marks a significant expansion of the Claude ecosystem, moving beyond the text and the code into the realm of visual creation. For years, the Anthropic had positioned itself as a competitor to OpenAI and Google in the natural language space. But with the Claude Design, it signals a deep ambition to redefine how humans interact with creativity itself. The Claude Design is powered by Anthropic's most advanced model, Claude Opus 4.7, a multi-model system capable of interacting not just words but visual concepts, and that this also allows the tool that the user to describe an idea into a natural language. A sleek pitch deck for a fintech startup or a prototype layout for a mobile app, and watch that the AI generates a polished professional grade visuals. Presentation, one-pager, product mock-ups and marketing materials can be drafted in minutes. And bypassing the traditional blank canvas problem that has a long haunted designers and entrepreneurs. So the launch of Claude Design is not just about convenience. It is about accessibility. And Anthropic envisions a world where the founder, the product managers, and the market people who may lack formal design training can still produce compelling visual that communicate their ideas effectively. In this sense, the Claude Design democratizes creativity, lowering the barriers and accelerating the workflow. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you are watching and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So moving forward, for startups, the implications are enormous. A founder preparing for an investor's pitch can now generate a professional deck overnight. So marketers can prototype campaign visuals without actually waiting for a design team. And even the educator and the students can use Claude Design to create very designing and engaging presentation with minimal effort. And unsurprisingly, the debut has sparked comparison with the established platform like Canva, Figma, and Adobe Photoshop. So analysts have already begun asking whether Claude Design could be Canva killer. While the Canva revolutionized the design by offering templates, drag and drop simplicity, the Claude Design goes a step further. It eliminates the need for templates altogether. Instead, it listens to language and interprets the intent and produces the visual that feels tailored to the user's vision. And this shift from template to driven design to AI driven creations could reshape the competitive landscape. If the Claude Design succeed, it may force incumbents to integrate deeper AI capabilities into platform, accelerating the industry's evolution. So yet, as with all generative AI, Claude Design raises questions. Can AI generated visual truly match the nuances and artistry of human designers? Will the reliance of AI homogenize the creativity, producing output that feels polished but lack originality? And what of copyright and ownership? Who truly owns a AI generated design, the user or the algorithm? Now, the critics also warn the ethical risk, and just as the test-based AI has misused to generate misinformation, visual AI could be exploited to create misleading prototypes, fake branding, or even the counterfeit the documents. The Anthropic insists that safeguards are in place, but the debate is far from the settled. So, you will also agree that there's a turning point in AI creativity which is on rise. The Claude Design debut is more than a product launch. It is turning point in the story of AI creativity. For Anthropic, it represents a strategic pivot from being a text-first company to embrace the multimodal intelligence. And for user, it offers a glimpse of future where the language itself becomes the interface for the design. Now, when I'm just telling you about this, I also get worried. I am with the critics because nowadays the children are also very tech savvy, and they will love Anthropic Cloud because they can turn their language into a picture which they love most because they hate writing, right? So this is something which I think I need your comments on this. Now, going forward, for a society, it raises the profound question that is there about the role of human artistry in the age where the machine can generate beauty at scale. So Anthropic Cloud Design is both exhilarating and unsettling. It promises speed, accessibility, and democratization, but also challenges long-held notion of originality and authorship. As a business educator and creator, experiment with this new tool. The world will have to decide whether AI-led design is a complement to human creativity or a competitor. So in the end, Claude Design is not just about making visual easier. It is about redefining the very act of creation, turning the words into the images, the ideas into the artifacts. Whether it becomes a cornerstone of a creative economy or a cautionary tale will depend on how wisely we balance innovation with integrity. So we have come to the end. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe our channel. So see you in the next one. But before we end, few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, the universe isn't just expanding, it is going somewhere. From the mysterious great attractor to the inevitable big freeze, where everything actually heading? That's a very big question that we want to address today. In this video, we trace the ultimate trajectory of every star, galaxy and atom in existence. Have you ever wondered about the final destination of the cosmos while we go about our daily lives? Our Milky Way galaxy is screaming through space at 2.2 million kilometers per hour. But where it is going, what is pulling it? Let us discuss this further. Hello friends, welcome to chapter number 2, which is about how to apply gesso. So I will explain everything to you. I will tell you what is gesso, why it is so important, etc. This is the chapter number 2. First chapter was dedicated on how to apply the masking tape. As you can see, I have actually applied the masking tape all across the border. I plan to apply masking tape for dividing the sections on this painting also, which I will cover in the subsequent chapters. Alright, so let's go back to our main topic, which is gesso. Gesso is required. Let me first show you what is gesso. So I am using a gesso from a company called Art Cover. You can see this is which I use always, and I prefer using this because this has given beautiful results. Alright, so this gesso is a basic compound. Basically it gets applied on the canvas. Couple of things it does for the painting. Number one is it's basically opaque. It makes the entire white surface as completely opaque white. So when it is opaque, that means when the painting is ready, there will be no significant light reflection and the change of color will not happen. So it will make your canvas completely opaque, and then it will be very good for receiving colors. So if the white portion, which is the background of your painting, is completely opaque and pure white, then it is much more receptive to receive oil colors or acrylic color. So gesso is used primarily for preparing your canvas, especially for oil colors as well as for acrylic. Since I am using my canvas to make oil painting, I will be applying the same gesso and then do my oil painting. There are a couple of other things it does. First of all, it actually makes it opaque. It makes it very even. So gesso, once it is applied, it settles in a very even, uniform canvas. As you can see right now, I'm not sure whether the camera is doing justice, but there are few wrinkles, because cloth will always have a wrinkle. So there are few wrinkles, and you don't want these wrinkles to appear on your painting. So that is why you need to apply gesso. Well, many people go ahead with their painting, their artwork without applying gesso, but then these are the drawbacks. So if you are if you want to convert your creativity into a long term beautiful lasting piece, make sure that you have your planning done, and also apply gesso before you even start doing anything with your painting. So I've explained why you need gesso. This gesso is pure white, it is water soluble. You can just take it and use this kind of roller. You can also use brush, but then brush will leave its marking. But if you use roller like this one, this is a small roller which I use, so I recommend that you also use the roller, because this one will not leave any marking on the while applying the gesso. Once you have applied the gesso, make sure that gesso is applied after you put the border masking tape. As in the previous chapter I have explained, I have actually applied the masking tape to create the border. So once you have done that, then you can apply the gesso, so that you know exactly how big your painting would be, and what elements you need to bring into your paintings. Once the gesso is applied, it's actually different kinds of varieties of gessos are there. There is a fast drying gesso, there is a slow drying gesso. So if you are applying, depending on what you are planning to do, you can actually take fast drying gesso, which I have taken. It will get dry within 30 minutes. But once I apply the gesso, I will actually like to wait for 1 or 2 days, because I don't want anything to I don't want to give any chance for any wet surfaces of my painting. Obviously this is a water based compound and it has to get dried, and it also depends on the weather. So if you are in a cold country, gesso will take longer to dry. I mean, the water will take longer to dry, which gesso will is pre-mixed with. So make sure that there are certain things that you should look after. And once you have applied the gesso, once the canvas is completely dried, then it has become a base canvas for your painting to start with. So this is chapter number 2. I have told you why you need a gesso, how to apply gesso, and therefore this is something which you must keep in mind while planning your painting. Alright, so in the next chapter we will actually segmentize our painting. I will tell you how to use masking tape to segmentize your painting, so that you don't waste color and then overlap different colors when you start making your paintings. All right, so that will be chapter number 3. So I will see you in chapter number 3. Make sure that you follow these instructions and prepare your canvas using gesso. See you in the next one.
Rishi Kashyap, the eternal sage of Sanatan Dharma, stands as the architect of diversity itself, his legacy woven into the very fabric of existence. Kashyap's achievement was cosmic, unbounded by geography or time. His empire was not of conquest but of coexistence. A vision so vast and unconquerable that even in 2026, it challenges us to see universality as the greatest triumph of all. His contribution is not limited to progenitor of civilization, but his Kashyap Samhita, also called as Vridha Jivika Tantra, is a classic text on pediatrics, gynecology and obstetrics, still studies in Ayurveda today. Kashyap is also credited with contribution to Kashyap music and Shilpa Shastra, that is art and architecture, showing his influence beyond spiritual philosophy. So let's find out more about him. Rishi Kashyap, one of the greatest Saptarishi, is remembered not only as a sage but a progenitor of civilization, a figure whose vision encompassed the very diversity of the creation. His legacy is vast. Through his union, and Kashyap is said to have fathered myriad beings like human, animals, birds and celestial entities. This mythic narrative is more than ancestry. It is a profound metaphor for interconnectedness, teaching all existence is a part of a single cosmic order. In 2026, when the humanity confronts ecological crisis, erosion of biodiversity, Kashyap's vision feels like a timeless call to honor diversity as sacred. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So, moving forward on this topic, Rishi Kashyap's philosophy integrated dharma with natural order, that is, righteousness with the natural order, urging harmony between human conduct and the rhythm of cosmos. This resonates today in a sustainability movement where the ethics and science converge to guide responsible living. And at the same time, Kashyap's worldview insists that the progress must align with the balance, that the innovation must serve the natural order. And his legacy also bridged myth and governance as dynasties traced through the lineage to him, grounding authority in values of stewardship and the continuity. So in our era of contested leadership and fractured identities, the Kashyap's example reminds us that the true governance rests on responsibility towards all being. Yet Kashyap's unconquerable achievement lies in his vision of universality. By fathering diverse lineage, he symbolized unity through multiplicity. This echoes in 2026, a globalized digital world where the pluralism is strength and the interconnectedness is destiny. His philosophy challenges us to weave difference into shared narratives of coexistence, much as he wove creation into a single cosmic order. Kashyap, traditionally associated with northern western part of Indian subcontinent, the very name Kashmir, which is a state of India, believed to derive from him. Legend says Kashyap drained the ancient lake Satisar to make the valley habitable, giving rise to region's name Kashyap Mir, that is lake of Kashyap, eventually now we call it Kashmir, or Kashyap Meru, that is mountain of Kashyap. So it is here that one must certainly mirror the spirit of Genghis Khan of Mongolia. Centuries later, embodied the relentless drive to unify vast territories under single vision. His empire stretched across continents, reshaping trade, culture, and governance. Kashyap's achievement, though born of creation rather than conquest, is monumental. Where the Khan's empire was bounded by geography and time, Kashyap's was cosmic, eternal, and unconquerable. In 2026, as humanity seeks to reconcile power with wisdom, Kashyap's achievement stands as the greatest triumph, the creation of diversity itself, the binding of existence into one living continuum. Thus, Kashyap's contribution to the world is not confined to myth or ancestry. It is philosophy of balance, diversity, and responsibility. His voice echoes across millennia, reminding us that the creation is sacred, diversity is strength, and the harmony with nature is the highest dharma, that is righteousness. In 2026, his legacy challenges us to honor the interconnectedness woven into of life, or maybe a web of life, to embrace pluralism as power and recognize that the greatest empire is not the one of conquest but coexistence. Rishi Kashyap's legacy is not a tale locked in the past. but a living philosophy that continues to shape the present. So his unconquerable achievement was the creation of universality itself, an empire of coexistence that transcends boundaries of time and geography. His presence is linked to Himalayas and surrounding region, embedding him into the spiritual landscape of northern India. He is a global impact even today. So Kashyap's vision unified existence through creation, weaving together human, animal, celestial being into one cosmic continuum. In 2026, as humanity stands at the crossroad of technological acceleration and ecological fragility, Kashyap's voice resound with clarity that the greatest triumph is not the domination but harmony, not the conquest but coexistence. So his empire endured not in maps or monuments, but in the living diversity of the world. A reminder that the most powerful legacy is one that sustains life itself. So beyond being the father of creation, he is remembered as the sage whose influence shaped both land and lineage. In 2026, his unconquerable achievement reminds us that the greatest empire is not one of the domination but of diversity and harmony, an eternal continuum where the coexistence itself is the crown jewel of civilization. So we have come to the end of this topic. We like your comments on this topic. If you want to add something on the profile of Kashyap, the great sage of India, please also like and subscribe our channel, and I look forward definitely your comment, and see you in the next one. So take care. Bye bye.
Hello friends, NASA just revealed its next generation high performance space flight computing HPSC processor, a tiny system on a chip that operates nearly 500 times faster than the current space flight computers. Testing at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory JPL proves that the radiation hardened chip could completely eliminate delayed commands from mission control, allowing future rovers and deep space probe to think, navigate and troubleshoot entirely on their own. Therefore, this is very significant, and in this video we break down how this revolutionary AI chip works, how it survives the brutal radiation of deep space, and what this means for upcoming crewed and robotic missions to the moon, Mars and beyond. Let's go. Imagine you're driving a car down a busy highway, but there is a catch. Every time you turn the steering wheel or step on the brakes, it takes 20 minutes for car to actually react. Sounds like a total nightmare, right? Well, that is exactly how NASA has to drive every single rover, probe and spacecraft currently exploring our solar system. Because of the staggering distance in deep space, radio signal traveling at the speed of light can take anywhere from few minutes to several hours to travel from Earth to place like Mars or Jupiter, and then any other beyond Jupiter, few hours to get a response back. If a rover encounters a sudden hazard like crumbling ledge or an unexpected dust storm, it can't wait for ground control to tell it what to do. It has to stop, shut down and go into a protective safe mode, waiting hours or days for humans to fix the problem. But in May 2026, NASA announces a breakthrough that will challenge the rules of space exploration forever. they have officially built and begun testing a revolutionary new brain for the spacecraft, a tiny microchip that allows deep space probe to finally think, react, and navigate entirely for themselves. So, friends, if you've reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's continue. To understand how massive this upgrade is, we first need to look at the dirty little secrets in the space industry. Space computers are surprisingly ancient. The smartphone in your pocket right now is exponentially faster and much more powerful than many computers on board NASA's most advanced rovers. Why? Because the consumer electronics on Earth don't have to survive a bombardment of high energy cosmic radiation or extreme temperature swing that would instantly fry a standard silicon chip. Space agencies have historically chosen safety and rugged reliability over raw processing speed, but space exploration has reached a bottleneck. Future missions to navigate subterranean caves on Mars or to plunge through icy plumes of Europa requires intense real-time data processing that old chips simply cannot handle. Enter the HPSC, which stands for High Performance Space Flight Computing. Developed through a landmark commercial partnership between NASA, Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Microchip Technology Inc., this processor is a marvel of engineering. It's a system on a chip, or SoC, meaning it packs an entire computer worth of central processing unit, memory, controller, advanced networking units, and computational accelerator onto a single piece of silicon that fit right into the palm of your hand. And the performance numbers, what are the performance numbers? They are absolutely staggering. Preliminary tests show that the HPSC processor provides over 100 times the total computational capacity of the current space flight computers. But even wilder, in specific operating scenarios, its peak performance bursts up to 500 times faster than the radiation hardened chip in use today. So how does this works, and how did they do it? How did they build a chip that's this fast, doesn't melt in deep space? First, the HPSC is built on an open source 64-bit RISC-V architecture, which is RISC number 5 architecture, featuring a 10-core multi-processing system. Unlike the older single-core space chips that had to handle every instructions one by one, this multi-core system can delegate tasks. But space has another massive constraint, which is power. On a distant moon or out past Saturn, solar power is nearly non-existent, and every single watt of electricity from spacecraft's nuclear battery is very precious. The HPSC handles this with unprecedented flexibility. It features a dynamic granular power management architecture. If a spacecraft is just quietly coasting through deep space for a few months, operator can algo turn off the sections of the chip that aren't being used, dropping it into a ultra low power mode. But the second the spacecraft prepared to execute a complex high stake landing on a distant planet, the chip instantly powers up all its cores to process mountains of sensor data on the fly. Furthermore, it is designed from the ground up to be a fault tolerant and radiation hardened. High energy solar particles can randomly flip bits in computer's memory, causing critical code to crash. HPSC has built-in hardware level error handling and a full defense grade security suite. It can detect a radiation induced error, correct the corrupted data in real time, and keep running without missing a beat, all the while being millions of miles away from the nearest repair technician. Now let's talk about this what this actually enables. Why does a spacecraft need a 500 times speed boost? It all comes down to autonomy and on-board artificial intelligence. With this kind of processing muscle, a spacecraft doesn't just record data to send back to Earth. It will analyze it locally. Imagine a future rover exploring Mars. Instead of waiting for a human team on Earth to map out a safe 30-foot path of the day, HPSC powered rover can use its on-board camera to build a real-time 3D map of its surrounding, run advanced object classification algorithms, spot its own hazards, and safely drive miles a day completely on its own. Think about autonomous landing sequence. Landing on a body with an atmosphere or an unpredictable surface is often called the 7 minutes of terror. The spacecraft has to fire thrusters, deploy parachutes, and scan the ground for boulders, all in real time. HPSC allows integrated AI algorithms to process high fidelity sensors data instantly, making split second adjustment to land precisely on the target. This opens up a whole new class of missions. We can now confidently send intelligent vehicles into places where real-time human control is literally impossible, like flying automated helicopters through alien atmospheres, traversing dark subterranean caves, or deploying autonomous submarines beneath the icy Jupiter's moon Europa to look for alien life. This isn't just theoretical science or any fiction anymore. Right now, this chip is a reality. It's being put through absolute rigor. At NASA's JPL in California, engineers are conducting rigorous functional test campaigns. They started, back in February, blasting the chip with extreme thermal shocks, violent vibrations to simulate rocket launches, and intense electromagnetic radiation. To kick off the test phase, the teams programmed a tiny symbolic message into the processor. Hello universe, a clever, grander nod to the classic hello world program every software engineer writes. And so far, the chip has passed every single test with flying colors, proving that it functions flawlessly exactly as designed. But NASA and the microchip technology have an even broader vision. Because this architecture is highly flexible, it isn't going to stay confined to deep space. Microchip is planning to adapt the core technology of HPSC processor for high demand mission critical industries right here on Earth. We are talking about next generation commercial aviation autopilot systems, smart energy grid that can dynamically reroute power during natural disasters, advanced medical equipment, automated manufacturing, and localized industrial AI robotics. It's another classical example of how investing in space technology radically accelerates innovation for everyday life on Earth. Once the testing phase wraps up and the HPSC chip is officially certified as space qualified, NASA plans to weave this hardware into practically everything they launch. It will power next generation Earth orbiting satellites, upcoming planetary rovers, autonomous deep space probes, and even the crewed habitat and life support system for the Artemis astronauts heading back to the moon, eventually onwards to Mars. We are standing on a precipice of a new golden age of exploration, an era where humanity's robotic scouts aren't just remote controlled tools tethered to a sluggish radio wave, but independent, intelligent explorers capable of uncovering mysteries of the cosmos entirely on their own. So, friends, what do you think? Would you trust an AI powered spacecraft to safely land astronauts on Mars without human input? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of space tech, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all the notifications so you never miss another breakthrough that we bring to you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video, my friends. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, how did the India turn thousands of kilometers of concrete into a massive financial engine? In this video, we break down India's ambitious 35,000 crore highway asset monetization strategy for year 27, which is next year, 2027. The National Highway Authority of India is leveraging Infrastructure Investment Trust and the toll operate transfer TOT model to recycle public assets by monetizing 28 national highway stretches span over 1,800 kilometers. The government is creating a sustainable revenue stream to fund the future infrastructure development across the country. Let us learn more about it. Imagine you own a house, but instead of just living in it, you could rent out a spare room to earn enough money to build a second house. That is essentially what India is doing with its highway. Welcome back. Today we are diving into a massive financial strategy, how the National Highway Authority of India, which is NHAI, is turning thousands of kilometers of concrete into 35,000 crore cash ATM. This isn't just about collecting tolls, it's a sophisticated blueprint for modern infrastructure development known as asset monetization. Let's break down how it works. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. To understand the 35,000 crore figure, we have to look at the National Monetization Pipeline or NMP launched in 2021. The NMP is a government initiative to unlock the value of existing brownfield infrastructure assets. Think of it this way. The government has already spent billions building these highways. Once they are operational, they don't need to be built anymore. They need to be maintained. Government realized they could invite private investors to take over the operations of these complete road, and in exchange, the government gets an upfront lump sum of cash. This cash is then recycled to build new roads, bridges, and expressway. It's a perpetual cycle of growth. So how do they actually move the money? NHAI primarily use two powerful mechanisms. First, we have the toll operate transfer model, which is TOT model. Under TOT, the government grants a private player the right to collect tolls and maintain highway stretch for a specific period, usually 20 years. The private player pays the government a massive upfront fee for this right. It's a win-win. The investor gets stable long-term returns and the government gets immediate capital. Second, we have an infrastructure investment trust or INVIT, INVITs. Think of it of an INVITs like a mutual fund, but for roads. NHAI pools several operational highway assets into a trust and offer units to investors, from large pension fund down to retail individuals. Investor get regular dividend from toll revenue collected, and NHAI gets the capital to fund new massive projects. In fact, just this year, the maiden public issue of NHAI Rajmarg Investment Trust was oversubscribed 14 times, proving massive investor confidence. Now, a common question is, does this mean toll will skyrocket? The answer is no. The user fee are strictly regulated under a national highway fee rules. Furthermore, the government has built-in oversight. The agreement includes independent traffic surveyors, strict audit requirements for escrow accounts, and performance monitoring to ensure that the private concessionaries don't prioritize short-term profit at the cost of public goods. The goal isn't to gouge drivers, it's to make the entire ecosystem more efficient and more transparent. This isn't a one-time project. Under the National Monetization Pipeline or Policy 2.0, the government has identified highway assets worth about 4 lakh crores to be monetized through by 2030. For the current year, which is 26-27, the target is specifically 35,000 crores, involving just 28 highways spanning over 1,800 kilometers. By shifting away from traditional budget dependency and moving towards market-driven financing, India is setting a global standard for how a country can leverage its own infrastructure to build a stronger economic future. From an asset-heavy government to an asset-light facilitator, India's approach to highways is changing. So, what do you think, friends? Is this the right way to fund our nation's growth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into Indian economy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining live. I will catch you again in the next one. But before I leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now, hello friends and namaskar. Do you know that the Gurugram real estate prices have skyrocketed by 18%? Therefore, in this video, we break down exactly why property demand in Gurugram is hitting new high in 2026 and what this means for home buyers and the real estate investors. Let's go and explore this further. If you have been looking at the property in Gurugram lately, you have probably noticed that same thing I have in the market is basically on fire. So what was cheaper earlier is now becoming expensive. We are looking at an 18% jump in the prices, and that isn't just a random number. It's a signal of a massive shift in the Millennium City. But is this a bubble about to burst, or is there some actual solid value behind these numbers? Today we are breaking down exactly what is happening in Gurugram real estate market in 2026, and more importantly, whether you should be buying, selling, or staying on the sidelines when the property is soaring so much. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, first, let's get the big question out of the way. Why 18%? A lot of people see this and think perhaps speculative bubble. But when you look at the data, it's actually a structural repricing. We are seeing a perfect storm of three things: infrastructure, corporate expansion, and flight to quality. Not all of the Gurugram is growing at the same rate. We are seeing two-speed market. This is the part everyone ask me about. Is it too late to enter? So when we talk about two-speed market, so there are places in Gurugram which are moving slowly, but there are hot cakes, very very prime locations which are growing at 18%, especially in 2026. So question is it too late to enter? No, market is absolutely risk free. We had a massive price run up in the short 30 months window, and you need to be aware of the risk also, like potential interest rate fluctuations and the fact that we have pulled forward several years of expected appreciation into the current window. So in the end, I would like to tell you that look for a 7-year plus holding period if you are buying right now. This isn't get rich quick game anyway. It is a long-term wealth building strategy in a maturing global city. And Gurugram is a very happening place. Also, there are a lot of business opportunities for people who live in Gurugram. So Gurugram isn't just a city. It's a structural growth story. Whether you are looking at the Dwarka Expressway or the established luxury of Golf Course Road, the key is doing your homework. Don't buy the hype, but buy the fundamentals. So friends, the prices are going up, and my advice is to basically look for a property based on your budget and location preferences. But definitely this is the right time to invest in Gurugram real estate market. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, subscribe our channel, and look at the property price in Gurugram very seriously. Do let me know what sector you have in mind, and I can probably guide you further on that. My name is CK, and I will see you again in the next one.
In the grand symphony of India's philosophical heritage, Rishi Jamini's voice rises like a drumbeat of duty, which is steady, resonant, and timeless. While sages sought liberation through knowledge or devotion, Jamini declared that the universe itself is upheld by action, and his Mimamsa Sutra transformed rituals into cosmic law, dharma, that is righteousness, into a daily rhythm, and responsibility into the very heartbeat of existence. Today in 2026 and beyond, his vision of ritual as responsibility echoes anew and remind us that the yajna of sustainability, justice, and compassion are the modern duties that keep our fragile world in balance. So let's find out more. In the vast constellation of Indian races, Rishi Jamini shines as the discipline of Vyas, or the architect of Purva Mimamsa Sutra. His work carved a distinct path of Hindu philosophy, one that emphasized the authority of Veda and the sanctity of ritual. And of course, it is also a binding power of dharma, which is righteousness. Whether other schools sought liberation through knowledge or devotion, Jamini's Mimamsa placed the spotlight on the action, rituals, as they actually turn out as a bridge between humanity and the cosmic order. So Jamini's contribution to Hinduism was profound, and definitely it is profound even today. He argued that Vedas are eternal and self-validating and required no external proof. So in his vision, the ritual prescribed in Vedas were not mere a symbolic act but an engine of cosmic harmony. Each mantra and each offerings was a thread in the tapestry of dharma, which is righteousness, and sustaining balance between seen and unseen world. For Jamini, liberation was not the ultimate goal. Rather, the fulfillment of duty and the perpetuation of order were paramount. In his philosophy, he gave Hinduism a framework where the rituals were not a superstition but science, and exacting the discipline that aligns human life with universal rhythm. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. That will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So, moving forward, Mimamsa school also sharpened the tools of logic and hermeneutics. The Jamini's Sutra developed a method to interpret Vedic injunctions, resolve contradictions, and establish principles of meaning. In doing so, he laid the groundwork for later Indian philosophy, influencing Vedanta and Nyaya and even the Buddhist thought. His insistence on autonomy of language and ritual created a tradition where the intellectual rigor and the spiritual practice walked hand in hand. So when we talk about the relevance in 2026 and beyond, it is very much resonating, and it is definitely unexpected ways which need to be practiced to know more about this. As humanity grapples with the climate change, technological disruptions, and ethical dilemmas, his emphasis on rituals as responsibility acquire new meaning. Ritual in the modern sense can be seen as sustainable practice or civil duties or collective action that preserve the balance, that create the balance in many of the aspects of human life and cosmos. Just as Vedic duty maintained cosmic order, today's ritual, whether recycling or meditating or community service, can be viewed as an act of dharma, which is righteousness and sustaining planetary harmony. Moreover, Germany's focus on action over physical expectations speaks to generation and immersed in pragmatism. In an age of AI and quantum uncertainty, his philosophy reminds us that the meaning is not only in abstract theories but in lived practices. So the Mimimsa insistence on authority of tradition parallels the contemporary debate on cultural continuity and ethical framework in a rapid changing world. So, in his teaching, we and people who believe in that, they are encouraged to honor the inherited wisdom while applying also into a modern challenges. So philosophical parallels to Mimimsa. So we can actually dive deep into these parallels beside Mimimsa. So these philosophies of Mimimsa are definitely also being offered by other schools of thoughts, and in spirit definitely there are other schools of thought which is somehow compared to Mimimsa school, and which emphasizes on the ritual actions and duty, and that echo you will find in Confucius teaching and theories. So as Mimimsa in Confucian's thought, they also elevate rituals as the foundation of social and cosmic order. So moving forward, if we talk about modern secular rituals like national ceremonies, civil observations, and even the scientific protocols that definitely embody the Mimimsa spirit and ritualized action and sustains collective meaning. So Rishi Jamini's legacy is not confined to the past, because the kind of ritual he's talking about, which is very much prevalent even in today's time, and that definitely give a benefit of responsibility in these rituals. And his Mimimsa Sutra reminds us that the universe is upheld not only by knowledge or devotion, but by rhythm of responsibility and the action which we do with the responsibility. In 2026 and beyond, as the humanity faces cries that demands collective discipline, his voice echoes, and dharma is not distinct. That means the righteousness is not distinct. It is enacted daily. So it is a practice, it is a responsibility, it's a rhythm, and it is also a ritual. The rituals of sustainability, justice, compassion are definitely our modern actions or duties, or we can call it yagyas, binding us to the cosmos. So in this way, Jamini's vision continues to guide us not towards escape from the world, but towards its preservation and beyond, to get the right kind of output for human life. So we have come to the end. Please like and subscribe our channel. We look forward for your comment and see you in the next one. So, but before we end this video, a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready, comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Friends, Nvidia is officially reinventing the PC. At Computex 2026, Jensen Huang unveiled the Nvidia RTX Spark, a revolutionary new ARM-based superchip designed to turn your Windows laptop into a powerful AI agent machine. In this video, we break down everything you need to know about this massive shift in computing. From its Blackwell GPU architecture and 20-core Grace CPU to the game-changing 128 GB of unified memory, the RTX Spark is positioned to take on the biggest name in the industry. We look at how this chip enables 440p AAA gaming, 12K video editing, and the local AI agent processing an ultra slim laptop from partners like Microsoft, Dell, and HP. Let's go. For 40 years, the way we use the computer hasn't really changed. You click, you type, you launch an app, you wait for it to process. It's been a tool, but what if your PC wasn't just a tool anymore? What if it was a teammate? Today at Computex 2026, Nvidia and the Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang officially announced that the PC is being reinvented. Say hello to Nvidia RTX Spark, a class of ARM-based superchip. This is set to redefine what we expect from our laptop and a compact desktop. This isn't just an incremental update, it's a full stack integration of a 30 years of Nvidia innovation, which is CUDA, RTX, DLSS, all shrunk down into a powerhouse meant for a slim all-day battery laptop. So what is the RTX Spark exactly is? It is a custom designed system on a chip built in collaboration with MediaTek. At its core, you're looking at the hybrid architecture. There are several things that we need to look at. First, starting with GPU. It features a Blackwell based RTX GPU with 6144 CUDA cores and 5th generation Tensor cores capable of hitting 1 petaflop of AI performance. Next is the CPU itself. The CPU paired with 20-core Grace CPU connected via NVIDIA NVLink C2C interconnect for lightning fast communication. Third, very important, is the memory. And this is perhaps the most impressive part. It supports up to 120 gigabytes of unified LPDDR5X memory, which is pretty fast. NVIDIA is targeting high-end, thin and light design. Think of 14 to 16 inches laptop, as thin as 14 millimeters and weighing around 1.3 kilogram category. They are promising all-day battery life, which, when you consider the raw performance, is a massive technical leap. But why the Spark name? It's about the agentic era. NVIDIA and Microsoft have been working together for years to build a native window experience for a personal AI agent. Instead of you opening 5 different apps to get work done, the RTX Spark is designed to run these AI agents locally. We are talking about models with 120 billion parameters and 1 billion token context windows, all running right on your device for a maximum privacy. Imagine an agent that can scan your inbox, draft responses, organize your schedule across multiple pieces of software, all without you lifting a finger. Through NVIDIA's OpenShell runtime, this is all handled securely on a local device, removing the latency and the privacy concerns of a cloud-based AI system. So if you are a creator or a gamer, this chip is a monster. And let's start with creators. And how does it, promote creativity? It has a tie-up with Adobe. Adobe is re-architecting Photoshop and Premiere from the ground up for RTX Spark. We are seeing claims of 2x faster performance in editing, coloring, and generative AI effects. You can render 90 GB plus 3D scene or edit 12K video natively on a laptop. And for gamers, what are the advantage? We are looking at AAA titles running at 1440p resolution at over 100 frames per second with ray tracing enabled. By utilizing DLSS and reflex. These machines are punching well above their weight class, closer to middle tier gaming rings from the standard ultrabook. So when you can get one NVIDIA confirmed that these machines will hit the market this fall. We are talking about partners across the board: Dell, HP, Asus, Lenovo, MSI, and of course Microsoft with their new Surface Laptop Ultra. HP is also bringing the platform to their Omni book line, and we will even see compact desktop variants. This launch marks NVIDIA's most aggressive entry into the consumer PC space since the early days of Tegra chip. They are going head to head with Apple M series and Qualcomm Snapdragon X chip, but they are bringing the entire CUDA and RTX ecosystem with them. The era of manual PC is ending and the era of agentic PC is beginning. Whether the RTX Spark becomes the new gold standard for high-end Windows laptop remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, NVIDIA is just shifting the entire industry's trajectory. So friends, what do you think? Is this the upgrade you have been waiting for, or are you holding out for most of the details on the basis of the pricing, on the basis of launch? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Akulmach World for more deep dives into the future of technology. I am CK and I will see you soon, very soon in the next one. For decades, the Indian nuclear sector was a forbidden fortress. It was state-run,